through everything.
Yep.
The championship has been decided. Finals have been decided. We're good.
Hello, and welcome back to the 12. The whole gang is back together finally. It's been so long, but we're here, and we're so excited to be back. But this is a show about the Women's Super League, as you know. That is the highest division of women's football in England. We're here to discuss all things WSL, both on and off the field. Each week, we'll be breaking down games, showcasing stars, and highlighting important stories surrounding the game. My name is Deepti, and I'm here with my co-hosts Marc, Thom Bomb, and Treb. And this week, we're doing our penultimate end-of-season review. And we're going to do it a bit differently. We're going to be having basically a very unstructured, unfiltered episode and just letting our feelings go and talking through the season, our thoughts about what happened, because things have pretty much been decided except for a couple places here and there. But I think maybe we'll go through each team kind of, but basically we're just going to talk, and we have a lot to say. We were talking a lot before we even hit record.
And I know that Treb has a lot to say about his squad and a certain final that is happening in Lisbon. So I'm going to go ahead and run a clear out for him.
Hit the Kobe. Hit the Kobe. Just like LeBron said, when I just do this, get the fuck out the way. Just get the fuck out the way. Right. That's what that means. First of all, it is great seeing everybody. It's been a minute. I think the last time we were here, it ended a little bit spicy because I think me and Marc were going at it about that Champions League final. And I think the last words to one another were just make sure you're in the final. And, one of us got it done. One of us is going to the final.
Yep. That happened.
Listen, I think if you had asked anyone, right? If you had said kind of before that round started, one of the London teams is going to lose their tie 8-2, and the other one is going to come back to win it and score 4 on the road and like get it done in the second leg, I guarantee you 100% of the people would have been like, damn, Lyon really put Arsenal to the shed. Like everyone would have figured it would have been Arsenal to get dropped like that. And we didn't, man. It is a magical end to the season for Arsenal. And I say that today is Monday, and we just had the second Manu Zinsberger game against Brighton. So I say it's a magical end to the season, having experienced 9 goals scored against us the last 2 matches. So even with that, to be in a Champions League final, it's just honestly like there's just no words for it, because if you look back at episode 1, at episode 2, when Jonas was still control, I very much was like, for me, I don't see Arsenal doing anything this year. I thought we were looking at a 5th place finish at best. I thought we were looking at a season. I felt like Jonas would get through the season, we would be dog shit, and then he would get let go. To me, the fact that he was let go so early in the season, the moment he was released or the moment he resigned and whatever you want to say, that to me was the moment Arsenal's season became a success, because I was like, we have gotten rid of what I feel like was the cancer of the club. And I feel like it has proven since that he was very much if not the reason, a big reason why we were starting to fall behind. Renee has come in and revitalized the team. And like I said, that Champions League run, to be behind against Real Madrid and then come back at home was special. I think when we went behind against Lyon at home, there was a large part of us that were like, man, like going on the road to France, that's going to be tough. Like that, I felt like that would be tough. I felt like we could get it done, but I felt like the keys needed to be Daphne Van Domselaar in goal, because that first leg was a Manu game, because Daphne had gotten a concussion on international break right before that. So that first leg we saw Manu, and thank goodness it was only a 1-goal deficit going into that second leg, because Daphne came in, she shut down a lot of really good attempts. And as a whole, I think Lyon probably played their worst match of the season that day, in conjunction with Arsenal playing one of their best matches on the road this season. And they got it done. And I just, like, as much as I just want to talk my shit legitimately, like, and I very much will over the course of this episode, like, I'm just very happy to be in this final and to have this chance, right? Like, I think we'll talk later about the final itself and kind of our thoughts and predictions, but just to be in the final and to have that, to be able to say, like, we have 90 minutes to win the biggest trophy in Europe. Like, that's all you want, is to have that chance. And the last time Arsenal had this chance, they won it. So, you know, Barcelona is a tough team. They're the best team on the planet right now. But, you know, I think, you know, I just feel like Arsenal's road so far has been a road of, like, proving everyone wrong, right? Like, they went down to Real Madrid. Everyone's like, okay, this is when Arsenal are going to bottle it. They came back at home. We went down against Lyon. That's when they were, okay, now they got to go on the road to France. Like, there's no shot they overcome this. We dropped 4 on them. Not just win on aggregate. Like, we dominated that match. And, like, we gave it to them. And so, you know, I'm excited. We're going to Lisbon. Like, I can't believe it, honestly. Like, if you would have told me before the season, hey, Jonas is going to get fired, you're going to have a rough start, you're going to lose the WSL title in the first 3 matches of the season, but Jonas will be fired, the interim will come in, and you will find yourselves in the Champions League final at the end of the year, I would have taken that in a heartbeat. So I'm good. I'm happy. I'm thrilled. This is great. How you feeling, Marc?
Well, I was going to say, too, don't forget finishing in the Champions League places. All right. Which I feel like, in a way, it's I mean, obviously, like, one is bigger, right? But in a way, it's more. my bad. Tom, I forgot you was standing.
We'll get to Tom, man. We'll get to that. But no, yeah, you're right. Like, I think that's also a part of it too, right? Is like, even with the last 2 losses for Arsenal, they've already locked in a top 3. Yeah. They do need a win against Man United in the finale to secure an easier route to the Champions League by finishing second. But at the same time, like, the way that I feel about that is Chelsea already won the league. Like, Chelsea won the league. We're in the Champions League final. Like, I don't care about the WSL anymore. Like, especially now that we locked in the top 3, for me, going forward with Renee and going into this season that I feel like is going to be a critical season for the team to bring in new players and rebuild and kind of not rebuild completely, but just kind of fine tune this roster. I think it doesn't matter if we finish 3rd. Like, we should be able to cruise through the qualifying and get into the Champions League. So finishing 2nd or 3rd doesn't really matter to me. What's most important is making sure our players are healthy for Lisbon. So that to me is the primary goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm thrilled. Deepti, how you feeling?
Yeah.
How you feeling about Arsenal?
I think you said it all for me. I think, honestly, if you listen back, we should listen back to our, like, first couple episodes when we're talking about this, because, you know, Arsenal wasn't even cracking the top 5 after those first couple games. I think we were both like, okay, you know, season's over already. Like, we're not going to get a Champions League spot. We're not going to go too far in the Champions League itself. Like, we were really not hoping or, like, expecting anything to come from the season. And then it all turned around after a certain person was fired / he resigned. And so I'm thrilled. Like, Treb, you are waiting to get your match tickets before you go. I'm booking my tickets to Lisbon after we stop recording tonight. But
How you have early access? What is that about? What's going on here? Why I gotta wait till 7 a.m.?
No, I don't have early access.
Oh.
I'm just gonna book my tickets to Lisbon.
Oh, you're just, like, not even for the match. You're just like, I'm just going. Fuck it.
I'm going, but no.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get.
Unfortunately, as someone who lives in California, I need to have the match tickets in possession before
that is very fair.
Fly to Portugal, but yeah.
But yeah, I would take this season again in a heartbeat. I think, like, yeah, it would be nice to be closer to Chelsea, get a chance for the league title, but given how it started and now how it's ended, absolutely happy with how it's gone.
And we'll talk about if we think we'll win it, because like I don't
we'll get
want
to
like,
Champions
Arsenal
League
fans don't
preview.
like to let themselves dream too big, but at the same time we like to believe.
No.
And so
And to be fair, I do think, I mean, you were saying like between Chelsea and Arsenal, which one team you thought, if someone would lose a tie? I think Arsenal did have a very favorable draw in the Champions League.
I don't agree. See, now you're gonna get me upset, Deepti.
No,
okay.
Deepti,
you're gonna get me upset. You're gonna get me upset.
Favorable in the sense that I don't think we were the underdogs necessarily in any match. I think we were like fairly matched. Lyon, yes, of course, because of how much they've won this competition. Like, I didn't expect us to win that tie, I'm not gonna lie. And especially after like the first leg and seeing how they played. But overall, I mean, Barcelona, I think, is still going to be a much tougher match than Lyon, but it is just one. And like you said, when the pressure's on for the team that's been to 5 consecutive finals now and is expected to win versus the team that hasn't been there since 2007, I think going in as the underdog may actually help us. But we can talk more about that particular match in a bit.
Well, I agree that, like, okay, when comparing Lyon versus Barcelona, yes, Arsenal got the favorable draw, because who the fuck would want Barcelona before the final? Nobody. But, like, I guess what I'm more upset about is, like, especially, and maybe this is just personal experience, because there's a lot of Chelsea fans in my life and, like, a lot of rivals, a lot of ops on my side, you know what I'm saying? But they were getting real loud about how Arsenal got a real, they were coming this close to calling that draw easy for Arsenal. And I just want to make it clear, going into that leg, not a person had Arsenal winning that leg, period. Not a person. Arsenal fans were hopeful, but you can't find me one person who legitimately went into that leg saying, yeah, Arsenal are going to come away with this win. You know what I'm saying? So, like, while the draw was easier if you're comparing Lyon and Barcelona, yes. But in terms of, like, we still had a very, very, very tough match.
What I will say, actually, you want to go, Thom?
When Montemurro, okay, up until the point that the starting lineup for the second leg was announced, I was like, oh yeah, Lyon's got this in the bag. But when Montemurro decided to start Hedberg over Van de Dijk and not not have that melanated front three of Melchi Dumornay and Diani and Tabitha Chewinga start, and he put Hedberg as the focal point of the attack, I thought that he handcuffed himself in a way that he didn't need to. I felt like Van de Dijk was so important in the midfield in the first leg, versus like what Dumornay was expected to do in the midfield. And then we're all Americans. We've seen the Lindsay Heaps movies. We've seen the Lindsay Heaps movies. We don't necessarily need to have a
to get hipster. We remember Heaps when she was Haran. All right. Like we've seen this before. We've seen it before.
Correct.
The only thing I saw her do was in that build up to the second goal in the first leg. That's the only time I saw her do something in that entire tie.
Yeah, in the 180 minutes that Arsenal played Lyon, that was it.
Yeah.
That was all.
What I will say
own goal too was like huge. Like, yeah, go ahead, Marc. But like, I think also like real quick, like that own goal in that first 5 minutes was also huge for Arsenal, because it's like you tie the aggregate in the first 5 minutes, even like own goal, your goal, whatever goal, like you tie an aggregate on the road in the first 5 minutes.
Momentum of everything.
Like Lyon are suddenly like, oh shit, because they also know like Arsenal aren't bad. Like we're not shit. We're not a shit team. We just have had a bad season. Like we've had a struggled season, and so I think Lyon realized in that moment, like, oh fuck, like we have a fight on our hands.
I think that Arsenal has also shown like they are the team in the WSL that has shown that against European competition that they can score goals in bunches. Like I think that City couldn't say that necessarily. Chelsea couldn't always say that. Like maybe in the group stages, but not necessarily in the knockout stages. So like Arsenal was the only club that in the WSL that was playing in Europe that could say like, hey, if we need to score 4, we can score 4. And they went out and scored 4. So like, I mean, more power to them for doing that. But I think that, yes, they were able to do that. And Montemuro might have, based off of his lineup, allowed them to do that.
What I was I was just gonna say real quick. So as you guys know, I listen to various podcasts, especially from our UK brethren. I will say, like, leading up to the first legs, there was definitely like maybe it was a bit dreaming or puffing the chest out, but there was a talk of a all WSL final. Like, can these teams get it done? But I think also too, like the way Lyon is perceived, it's like they're respected power, but like I don't know, they're in a weird spot, right? Like it's been like a little bit of a decline. I don't really think they're impervious per se. Like even like specifically from a Chelsea perspective, like they've beaten Lyon, obviously not Barca, but they've beaten Lyon. So if like I think at least for Chelsea anyway, like their mentality would have been different if they were coming up with Lyon versus like you saw how they played versus Barca. So I mean, maybe not favored, but I will say too, after the first legs, it was like, okay, Lyon's going to take this home. Like they have the lead going home. They
hadn't lost at home in like what 2 years?
Oh, really? Okay.
No, yeah, like Lyon had not lost a match at home. I think it's I could be wrong, but I think it was like in 2 years. Like that they haven't lost a match at home, and Arsenal went in there and did it to them.
Given how Arsenal had played the first leg, I had no expectation of them playing so much better the second leg. I'm not gonna lie to you, because usually they play better at the Emirates. I mean, yeah, like if it was a reverse, like where they played in France first and like played like that, and then
a lot
came
more
home,
confidence.
Sure, I would have had way more confidence. But the fact that they played like that at home, I was less confident in them going to France and doing how they did. Obviously, like very happy and pleasantly surprised that it turned out the way it did, but I think what Thom was saying too, it was a combination of Arsenal just going in with like, we literally have nothing to lose, just go out on the front foot, and maybe Montemuro and Lyon kind of, maybe they're a bit complacent, maybe it was just like his lineup was not what it should have been for that, like he just got his strategy wrong, but yeah, whatever it was, like I feel
and
like
I will say, like,
they proved him wrong.
One thing that I've definitely talked about and kind of got mad over was how people kept referring to Renee as Jonas's coach. When thankfully the commentary on Lyon had it right, which is she's not Jonas's coach, she's Joe's coach. Joe's the one that brought Renee into Arsenal. You know what I'm saying? She learned from him. So I think that's why her style immediately was so much different from Jonas, and why it feels like a throwback to when Arsenal were the perennial powers, because it is. It's like this is a coach that comes from the tree that was there the last time Arsenal were the powerhouse. And so I think that's huge. And just like last point as we move on to other teams, I feel like, but like, because we're going to circle back to Arsenal eventually when we talk Champions League, but just I think more than anything, and I've talked about this again, we talked about this before, where I think this run for Arsenal in the Champions League really cemented the fact that of all, like kind of like how Thom said, of all the teams in Europe, they're kind of like the team that they knows they can score in bunches against other teams. I think this was proof positive that this is also a team that better than just about, I think next to Barcelona, I feel like Arsenal women are the only team in the world that can go on a big stage and feel 1000% comfortable. Like they can go into a 80,000 seat stadium, even if it's on the road, and they feel infinitely more comfortable with that, pressure on them than they do, at one of the smaller stadiums or not many fans. Like Arsenal on a big stage, whether home or away this season, and especially in the Champions League run, they've shown like they are a team that does not fear the moment. They do not fear the big stage. Like I said, Lyon played their worst game, I feel like, of the season against Arsenal in that second leg. And I think a lot of that had to do, surprisingly, a little bit with the pressure, right? Like I said, the aggregate goes even in the first 5 minutes, and now you're like, oh shit, like what are we going to do? And Arsenal just was like, cool, we're in France, y'all hate us, we don't care, like this is what we do. We come into big stadiums and we get the job done. And I think Arsenal have 90 minutes to really solidify that, because if they do it, man,
We will be unbearable. Like...
I'm gonna be listen, man. You're lucky. I'm toning it down now. Like I'm probably saving the energy for when we talk Champions League and do predictions. But like I'm telling you now, I was like, because I'm very much the kind of person that like I don't like really talking my shit until I'm kind of like Kobe, right? Like we won the Western Conference Championship, job's not done. Like, did we win the championship? Job's not done. So like I don't want to really talk my shit until the job is done. But like, man, to say I was feeling myself was an understatement. Cause like when, and I'm not gonna like, we could either go to City or to Chelsea with Marc, but like when I'm not gonna lie, when I saw Barcelona beat the dog shit out of y'all, I was happy. Like as much as I wanted Chelsea in that final and to like have that moment to really break their hearts, like, man, seeing them get done 8-2, God, that just felt so good. I'm not gonna lie, that felt so good.
I like watching those two legs, like as someone who didn't necessarily quote unquote have skin in the game, but as an English team who's like on the precipice, it was very disappointing to see like, oh God, the WSL is not going to improve their coefficient based off of this. Like
I will say that was the disheartening part, is like this is supposed to be WSL's like forefront team. Like this is their perennial power, and they looked like a training squad reserve side against Barcelona. Like was just like training ground shit for them.
So
which
like
is insane to say.
This is the perfect segue for Marc. Like let patch you in here. So we again another WSL championship clinched with the victory over United, who might be the best defensive team in this league right now, who probably has the best goalkeeper in the league right now. And you also have the results of Champions League. So you already have like the Leagues Cup. You won that. You've won the league. You have a shot at the FA Cup. So you definitely have a shot at a domestic treble. That stated, what is the psyche of Chelsea supporters at this point of the season? Because I think that we've already I think we already have you on record saying that like Champions League is the most important thing for Chelsea, and to go out the way that you did is probably not what you wanted to see.
Yeah, and I'll start with I guess I'll start with that note with the Champions League, right? Not only going out, I mean, it's in terms of the opponent and this stage, that's nothing new, right? I think this is the third year in a row that they met Barcelona in the semi. But I think the total score, right, and the overall lack of competitiveness, the way they collapsed in the first leg in particular. I mean, that's when really it was over, right? Like I tuned into the second leg just to see if they would like at least show some fight, but at 4-1, it's over, right? And I think what hurts is that it was after 80 minutes, it was 2-1. You know what I mean? And so it's like, you're like, okay, you're on the road. Like Barcelona is always tough. Like you will take this result, just bring this home, and so like, and that's the biggest. I'm pretty sure I'm correct about this, but that's the biggest loss they've had to Barcelona since that infamous 2020 final, where they got their doors blown off 4-0. It was 4-0 before halftime, just to remind y'all, right? And so in that sense, it feels like regression, right? Like this, like you're going to face this opponent at some point. You weren't even as competitive as the previous seasons. And then I guess it's strange juxtaposing that with the performance in the league, because I think this is Chelsea's 8th title overall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 titles overall.
No, yeah, it's like 6 or 7 in a row, but you have more overall. Yeah,
it is 8 overall. And yeah, 6 in a row. So I was doing some math, right? So the biggest margin of victory they've had in the title race prior to this season was 6 points, and their combined total of all their title wins, right? And this is including the infamous COVID-shortened season where they technically had less points than City, but won it on points per game. Of course, last season they finished even on points and won it on goal difference. But their total margin of victory over that period has been 13 points, and they're up 12 points in the league right now, right? And they went undefeated. I didn't know this. They went undefeated in the 2017-18 season, but that's when there were only 10 teams in the league, and so they won 13 and drew 5. Whereas in this current campaign, they've only drawn 3 games, and I think that's 18 that they've won. So, I mean, in a lot of ways, this is the best domestic campaign that Chelsea have ever put down, right? They have obviously have a chance to go undefeated. They have a chance to finish on 60 points for the first time in this WSL. Yeah, that would be a first in this WSL era. I'm pretty sure we haven't done a domestic treble before, so there's a chance to do that. So, and something I've been thinking about a lot is going all the way back to the beginning of the season, going all the way back to like that preseason match versus Gotham. Like the thing that always jumped out to me is Chelsea took that seriously. Like they played like a almost like starting 11 kind of lineup, and so it was like Bompastor made it a priority to like hit the ground running, build up a lead, and then I guess kind of go from there. And I mean, the first half of the season was great, right? Like, I think Chelsea's best individual game performance overall was that 2-0 win over City at home in October. I just thought, like, tactically it was so on point. I think there were a lot of good things about that performance, like the way they set up, the way they attacked, defended, and so forth. But the second half of the season just wasn't as good. And, it's funny how Chelsea is covered, right? Because it's like, Chelsea won again. They're impervious. They're amazing. Like, they're racking up all these points. But like, if you nitpick, right? Like, you had the scammy win over Villa to start the new year. You had scammy win over, who was it? Or draw, I think it was, against Brighton. They had the draw against West Ham.
Yeah, you
right?
got Chigwell.
Yeah, right. Exactly. No, that was at home. That was at home. We were up 2-0. It was looking comfortable. West Ham come back. You had to come back against Everton twice. Once in the FA Cup and once in the league. So I mean, like, I think that there were warning signs. I think that I mean, I could like nitpick what I think needs to be changed. Like I think certainly the lack of speed in defense was something that was concerning to me, and I think that eventually you saw like Barcelona really exploit that. Like Barcelona's second goal in the first leg, I think it's Pina who scores, right? But she makes that run. I mean, like when she scores, it's from like 2 yards out. It's a tap in right down the middle, and it's like, how is she that open? It's because Lucy Bronze is chasing her the entire way down the field, and like, I guess she's sprinting.
Full sprint.
Yeah, it looked like she was running her hardest. It didn't, at least in terms of effort.
Versing a Ballon d'Or winner.
So, yeah, I mean, like there were decisions that Bompastor made in the first leg. I wasn't as harsh. I think she largely went with the players that got her there. And like I said, it was 2-1 after 80 minutes, right? And then you get burned on the set piece, and then that last goal with the back heel, like you have people ball watching. You have on the first goal, the entire defense stops for a split second. Lucy Bronze was directly at fault for like 3 of those goals. Right, she gets bullied by Parolero on the first one. She can't catch up to Pino on the second one. She's targeted on the set piece on the third one. And the penalty that Barcelona earned in early on, they ran that exact play, like player going to the back post. It was like they were targeting Lucy Bronze. I thought Baltimore also was targeted, and this is something that WSL teams did to a degree, but obviously they just don't have as much talent to actually be able to get the result. So it's I don't know. It's like it's hard for me to say like nothing was gained or I didn't enjoy the season at all. Like I obviously they did really well in the league. I appreciate the consistency, but I am curious as to like what the plan is going forward and how this team changes. Like because that's I think the thing for me is like there are going to be changes. Um, I think Canarid is like we talked about it before, but like we're not hearing anything about a new deal, and at this point, I don't see why you would bring her back, really, especially the way the season ended. It's funny because I've been talking about her drought for months, and I feel like it's only been the last few weeks where commentators are like, "Oh yeah, she hasn't really been scoring much since October." It's like, yeah,
Yeah, it's like yeah.
yeah, and I don't know about y'all, man, but like for me, I have a real visceral reaction when I see a player miss a like open shot or goals that what I mean. It's just like, oh, that's the easiest thing. That was another concern as the season went along. Like the goals dried up individually. Like Myra Ramirez in the second half was lacking confidence. I mean, she had, I would say, a couple misses in that 4-game series versus City where I was like, like that's not great actually. Canarid I mentioned. Other players too, like Newskin, like when Newskin played against Barca, I was like, oh, where have you been? Like, I feel like it's been a while since I've seen you. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think really our most consistent players from beginning to end were probably like Baltimore. Um,
Who played out of position.
yeah, yeah, right. I don't know. Don't even get me started on that, man. There's so many things I could say. Um, actually no, back to that. The performance of the fullbacks and especially like Neem Charles and Ashley Lawrence. It's like I know those are good players, but they didn't look good, and I think that's partly because of how Bompastor managed them, right? Like I gave Montpasar a lot of credit for how she used her squad and rotated the team early on, but I feel like it eventually became a very much an A team, B team thing. And I didn't really understand how certain players like Canarid kept retaining their place. So, and versus like somebody like Kat Macario, who, I felt like gradually got better as the season went along, especially recovering from injury. Um, but then you don't trust her much at all in the biggest games of the season, even though she provided the one moment of hope that you really had versus Barcelona, the assist to Baltimore. So I don't know. I'm very curious as to I guess my main takeaway is this, right? Like losing that tie to Barcelona was definitely some humble pie. And even I'll be honest, like after the first leg, like obviously I was disappointed, but like I think I was over it pretty quickly. Like within an hour or so, I was like, all right, well, we're not of the levels. Like that's just that's really it at the end of the day. She Bopaso tried to go toe to toe with Barcelona, and while I take issue with that, at the end of the day, she tried it and we're not there. So it's like, what is then? How are you going to improve this team? What does this team need to get better at to overcome that hump? Because I mean, in the last 5 years, Chelsea have made inroads in the Champions League in terms of consistently making the semifinals. They made it to the one final. Um, but like at this point, it's like they can't beat Barcelona. And I think that 4-0 lives rent free in those players yet. Like Ian Wright made that point, and I hadn't really thought about that, but I think there is some fear. Like even last season when they were close, like some of the opportunities they had that they missed, I feel like it's like the yips. Um, so yeah, I guess for me, the way I look at winning Champions League, I think like you look at the teams that typically win the Champions League, which is mainly Lyon and Barca. They are teams that generally are dominating their leagues, right? Like they are teams that are. It's not like what Arsenal is doing right now. I would say is unprecedented, where you're not winning your league, but you're making a run to the final. Like we see that more in the men's game, but like in the women's game, it's like less parity, right? And so I think it's winning the Champions League is going to be maybe a multi-year project. Like I don't think it's a case of Bompastor is going to show up, tweak some things, and then we're good to go. So
Well, that is
I
the one
have a
question I had,
question.
right? Oh, okay. Well, you go, Deepti. Go ahead. You are the
Okay,
host.
well,
You go.
a couple questions. One is, does it sting more, like the fact that Chelsea still doesn't have a title, given that there is another English team in the final? Like if, let's say, Arsenal and City were both out before Chelsea was out in the Champions League, would you feel less bad? Or do you think like Chelsea fans as a whole would feel less bad about it? Or is that, regardless of what the other English teams do, like this is your one, what do you call it? The white whale, is that what it's called? The Moby Dick theory? Like,
uh,
um, like regardless of what the other teams do, is that what, like, because you're gunning for that no matter what, it's a disappointment, obviously, or is there a little bit less or more?
well, let me not speak for other Chelsea fans because I know other Chelsea fans for the hate is for real, right? Like it's seeing Arsenal
Other Chelsea
defeated.
fans are very much up. Like if Arsenal had lost first, a lot of Chelsea fans would not give a fuck right now. They would actually be like, whatever. Barcelona are better. It happens. The fact that
Mm.
that's what I'm saying. The moment we beat Lyon, the narrative became we had the easy draw. It was the word easy, and that's what really got me. Anyway, go ahead, please continue.
For me personally, not really. Like it's just the only thing that it would like really sting if like Arsenal beat Chelsea in the final. Like that would be tough to stomach. But like okay, looking at this final for example, I'm not rooting for Barcelona. I could tell you that much. So you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't mind actually, Arsenal kind of showing up Barcelona. But
Interesting.
yeah, I just want it
That
for
is super.
us.
You're like, I feel like you're the only Chelsea fan I've heard
Yeah, I
say
was gonna
that.
say
And
that's
like,
interesting.
every other Chelsea fan I've heard has literally said the words like, "We want Barca." Like they are lamenting the fact that they have to root for Barcelona, and I'm like, you don't have to root for Barcelona, and they're like,
I'm
no, we
not
have
there.
to,
I'm
and I'm
not
just like,
there.
all right.
Yeah. I
I'm like,
can't
all
And
right.
root.
then
I guess root for the team that dog walks you every time they see you. I guess like, that's fun.
my other question, as kind of a general, again, about like the whole season and just looking back and kind of now with hindsight, do you think Sonia was the best pick for Chelsea manager? Because, people say like they brought her in for Champions League specifically. However, she hasn't actually had like the success that Chelsea wants since her first year as a Lyon manager when they won the Champions League title. After that, they lost to Chelsea, they lost to Barca, they lost to whoever else it was after that. I don't remember. But the last time they won with her was 2022, I think. So it's been, I mean, I guess her other 2 years, they didn't make it as far. And like she beat Barcelona in 2022, but they've obviously improved. They've figured out how to beat Lyon. And so like it's
Right.
it's clear that Sonia, still doesn't know how to beat this new Barcelona. And so was that actually the best pick? Do you think there could have been a better pick now, looking back at it?
I can't say that there's another manager where I was like, oh yeah, like we should give them a run, and that's the thing too. Like because I've seen some of the suggestions about other managers, like I think the Leicester manager, for example. But my thing is like Chelsea's such a difficult job, and like to like right away, I think that your list is very short of managers you can realistically bring in because if you bring in somebody with like a lower profile, doesn't really have a name, the moment they hit any bit of struggle, was this the right manager? Are
Hmm.
they out of their depth? That sort of thing. I think that the cachet that Bon Pastor brings is kind of important because the thing I always point to make, especially at clubs like Chelsea, like coaches are more. It's more than just being a coach. Like you're a manager. You're you know the the
You're like the
the
face of the club.
face.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you're
are the
like a
mouthpiece. Yeah.
PR manager. Like all of that. You have to deal with all of that. So I think she is good with the media. I think she is good at expressing herself. So I give her that. I mean, like, look, they lost 3 games. Two of
Hmm.
them were to Barcelona. One of them was the City of the Champions. That to me, I think, is what's very interesting. Like, out of the 4 knockout games, you lost 3 of them, and the one game
Hmm.
you won. Like, I mean, we were on the stream, Treb. Like, we saw the lineup. It was like, oh, Chelsea gonna roll them. So it's like it wasn't necessarily down to tactics, right? So that's I guess it's obviously you hire Bon Pastor because she's this tactician and she's this Champions League specialist. So when she doesn't come up, when she comes up short in that competition, then it's like,
Hmm.
right? So,
I mean, obviously, yeah, we have to give her credit coming into a new league, coming in and going undefeated basically in her first season. Like, yeah, props to that. But coming
yeah.
in, like, she was brought in for a specific purpose. And
I
yeah.
kind of wonder if this makes her job harder too, because it's like in terms of a league performance, you can't really top this, right? Realistically.
Mhm.
But actually, I want to throw a question back to y'all, right? So we were talking about Liga FA earlier, right? And for those of you who don't know, Liga FA is actually still a bit of a title race. Real Madrid are 4 points behind Barcelona with 2 matches to play. And obviously, like our table or the WSL table, Chelsea right now are 12 points ahead of Arsenal, and that's with the fact that Arsenal have lost their last couple matches. But is WSL low key a farmers league?
I feel like we've had this conversation already where we talked about the fact that like outside, because I even said it on this podcast. I said the one thing I very much dislike about the league is the fact that legitimately only two other teams I feel like can beat Chelsea on a consistent basis, and that's Arsenal and City. Like, like they haven't done it as consistent lately, but I feel like just in terms of going in by a match by match basis, like
Yeah.
I don't expect Aston Villa to get a result against y'all. I don't expect Leicester to do it. I don't expect Tottenham or Liverpool, but there's literally
Spurs to ever get a result.
And so there's only two teams that I felt like, even earlier in the season where it's like there's only two teams that can legitimately take points off Chelsea, and that's City and Arsenal. And I feel like that itself lets you know that the league isn't as deep as a lot of fans would like to think it is.
Yeah. I would tend to
But
agree,
at the same time, like Liga F is also, you're talking about the top two teams and like
of the top European leagues anyway, are there any women's leagues that are not farmers leagues? Like all of them have just the same 2 or 3 teams.
They're all
constantly
top
in the race,
heavy,
right?
They're all like the
They're
SEC.
all super top.
They're all just
so
Everybody's talking. Everybody's
yeah,
talking.
I would say like Bundesliga would be closest, and like Bundesliga I would not rate in the top 3 leagues. So
yeah.
And honestly, I think that like this season was close because Bayern missed Georgia Stanway a lot.
A lot. Yeah.
A lot. So, and I think that that's the only reason why that league was as close as it was for as long as it was. But I'm pretty sure that Bayern has pretty much won that league.
They blocked it, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I don't. I think that you could, in theory, call every league in Europe a farmers league. Every one of the top 8 leagues that is going to get going to get a Champions League spot, like France, Germany, Spain, England, Portugal, Italy, Sweden, like all of those, like in the context of like what we think about as a farmers league on the men's side, like yes, those are all farmers leagues. And that is the way that the women's game is. Like there is not like, I think when I think of parity in the women's game, I'm going to go to NWSL or Liga
I don't want to
or even Liga MX Femenil. As far as like
but even that, a lot of times it usually comes down to Chivas or like Tigres or like America.
Yeah, like
so,
Tigres,
but it is a lot more close throughout the year because
correct.
Of how they are set up. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So like, I think that there's a lot more parity in those CONCACAF leagues than there are in any of the UEFA leagues.
Yeah.
And so like the last question that I had not the last, I guess if you want to keep talking Chelsea, but just like the question that I had for Marc, okay, so like how do I put like I don't think, like you said earlier, right? Like you can't really call a season where you go you still have to win a couple games, but like you're on the doorstep of invincible and you've won the league championship. Like you can't call that season a failure. Like even the deepest hater in me will never call that kind of season a failure in sports. But as a team that has made it clear the last couple of years, like your goal is Champions League, like to not make it to the final again, on top of the fact that like I think, like I know just again, like as someone who constantly roots against you guys. Like, I think for me, just like from that perspective, it was more so the lack of fight in the second leg that was just like, oh shit. Like, because even in that second, like even going into your second leg down 4-1, I felt like I could see Chelsea scoring 2 in the first half and really making this interesting, you know? And the fact that you not only didn't do that, but then let Barcelona like come into your house and drop 4, it just like, do you feel like maybe the season isn't a failure per se, but do you feel like the way that you were knocked out is like, do you feel like, okay, like, yeah, changes have to be made? Whereas before you might have been like, okay, we lost 3-2 on aggregate. Like, we're just not quite there. Run it back.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm not really, I would always say change something, right? Like that, you know, I always say
you're a greedy Chelsea fan. You always want a new toy. You want the new toy every year. I get it. So at least you admit it. I get it.
So, but you know, I mean, I was more disappointed about the second leg. I was disgusted about the second leg, really, and that to me, that's where like I pinpoint Bon Pastor, like some of those decisions, like not starting Cat. I don't understand what Ashley Lawrence has to do to play more. You know,
how is a player that is so good for country that she plays outside back, but still is allowed to wear the number 10 because she's that effing good for country, not get any run at all for club?
For the biggest game of the year too. Like not even just any run, just like the biggest game of the year.
Yeah, and for a backline that had shown that it was lacking speed, right? Like that's
the other thing. Like Barcelona have speed on the wings. Like you needed Lawrence out there just to keep up with them.
Like she had played bronze at center back in a couple games. I was like, fuck it, why not do that and put bring Ashley Lawrence in at right back, right? Like, and then your back line's fine. But no, the way they went, it was timid, like, and that does feel like regression, right? Because at least you put up a fight against Barcelona before, you know, to go out like that. And I didn't even count that last goal because that last goal came after 90 minutes. It really may as well have been 8-1. Like, it was bad. But no, yeah, I mean, like, you know, when that thank you JRK post hits, I'm gonna roll one.
Like, you know what's so funny though? I think early in the season though, I at least maybe it was just me, I thought she was playing like really well, and
like
she was like,
here.
Yeah, she. I think if you go back to whatever episode, you probably said like I'm saying she's probably one of the best players in the league, and that went so far the other direction, like very quickly.
Yeah, it's actually, I was thinking about that earlier too. Yeah, the drop off was crazy.
Yeah.
Did you know that her last Champions League goal was for Hacken? She's never scored in the Champions League for Chelsea. Like, what are you talking about here?
Excuse me?
Yeah, that was shocking to me too. You know, so I also think, you know, I think, so like Guro, I know she was dealing with some injury stuff as well, but I wouldn't, and her option was picked up for 2026. Wouldn't be surprised if she leaves though. I kind of feel like, I don't know. There's a few players where I'm like, you could probably go actually. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Really, it's what do we need to change? You know, I will say this in an optimistic standpoint, like bringing in, you know, Germer and Walsh obviously came in mid-season. I think I would like to see them after a full preseason. You know, maybe Bonpasto will have a better handle of like how she wants to set up with those players. But yeah, other than that, I mean, there's gonna be. I expect Chesley to be active. They're always active in the market, so.
Yeah.
Name names. I want to know. Who do you think? Like, who are your top?
I was about to ask.
Who are the top
like,
3 players you want gone? Now? I want to know. I want names.
Well, buddy.
I feel like you already gave us one hint with JRK with Canarid.
He said JRK
or JK, whatever her initials are, bro.
He said he wants Millie Bright to retire.
that should sort itself out, honestly. Because I'm praying that Buchanan's ACL recovery goes well, because by this time next year, like Millie Bright could be holding some bench. I hope, but Natalie Bjorn had a good season, so I'm cool with her. I think she'll have a long-term future at Chelsea. In terms of wingers, man, name them like Linda Caicedo, Dumarny, come on down.
Bro, we're not talking about who you want in. I
He
get it.
said,
Like
"Who
we
do you
already
want
know
gone?"
Oh,
everybody
gone.
in. I know what
My
Chelsea
bad, my
fans
bad.
want in. Like they want everybody. I know that.
My bad.
This-
My
Yeah,
bad.
but the greed of the Bible, that is what
Yeah,
Chelsea
this
fans
is the
are.
greed
Like,
they
you
talk
know what's
about.
gonna go
This is
in.
why
You
we
want-
can't
you
get a
wanna know what you
Champions
want
League.
out.
We get smited.
See, this is the thing. This is why it's so like I'm gonna be real. The haters gonna come out because this is why I like seeing Chelsea fail so much because these motherfuckers really think their only chance at winning shit is to literally buy everybody else's best player. They want
That's
to
right.
buy Bon Mati. They want to
That's
buy
right.
like they just want to buy their way to a Champions League, brother.
Olivia Smith, come
Y'all
on
want
down.
y'all are running
like,
from the grind, and I can't. I just love every time y'all
this
get
is
caught
the
out.
grind. This is our way of
This is
grinding.
not the grind, bro. Y'all are. Listen, man, y'all are gonna take me back to 2001 banter, bro. It's gonna be like the men's game type shit.
All right, in terms of outgoings, yeah, JRK, I would say Guru Wrighton probably. Millie Bright can
Ooh.
stick around just because, like, to make up the numbers. Who else? I don't know, man. I don't know. Give me.
Lauren James can go.
Are you gonna let go of your Scottish Terrier?
You bet. Hey.
Player of the
off.
year or something, right?
I mean, actually,
Didn't she just get
Yeah.
some? She just won something. Are we talking about
If
Erin
you-
Cuthbert?
did she? I wouldn't. I mean, if she was named Chelsea's Player of the Year, then
I think she was named Chelsea's Player of the Year.
She just
Yeah,
signed a new contract
that's
too,
deserving.
right?
Yeah. She extended to
Yeah, she's not
2027.
going anywhere.
Nah. Hands off. Nushkin actually. Nushkin is one where I don't know, because like I think she had a weird season. Like she started off really good, and then kind of tailed off. So I don't know what the plan is for her.
I mean, Jean Francois ceiling is higher
Yes,
than Nushkin's is.
I want to see more of Jean Francois. Like I think she's the defensive midfielder that we're missing. I think that was actually part of our problem is that we don't actually have a proper DM. And
I know that the cross gender comparison is not always passe, but like I think Jean Francois has the ability to have the ceiling that N'Golo Kante had for Chelsea.
Oh shit! If that's what we're talking about, that's bad news for everybody else.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. But like, I mean, if Sonia's not going to unleash her, it's not going to matter.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, it doesn't matter.
I was impressed in the few minutes that she got. Yeah, I would definitely like to see more of her. I agree with you there. But yeah.
So just okay. So like, lastly, what I really want to know is also
Mhm.
if you so like just kind of a quick glance forward.
Mhm.
If you're not holding the Champions League trophy next year, do you think it's a situation where you're looking for another manager? Seriously, like even if you do go, like let's say you go unbeaten, win the WSL again, but you lose in the final to like not even Barcelona, but like to anyone else or whatever. Like if you're not lifting that trophy next year, or at least in the final, do you think Chelsea are looking for a new manager?
I don't think so. I think if they have a similar season to this one, meaning like winning the league and so forth, but not winning Champions League, I think if they like, if it was like close to last season where it was looking trophyless, then maybe. But me personally, I think I would give Bonpastor a couple more seasons to win the Champions League before it's like, all right, you can't do this. But
Fair enough.
That's fair.
I'm surprised you didn't say you wanted Lucy Bronze out.
Yeah, I feel like that's a given though.
Yeah. The Lucy Bronze thing, man, because like she plays so much. Our UK brethren love her. It's like she can't do
They
no
do.
wrong, even though I'd be watching her do wrong all the time.
Every single match, bruh. It's just
Damn,
like,
dog.
what is happening?
It's like, why are you
It's
giving
like-
the ball away?
When I went to this Chelsea City second leg at Stamford Bridge, and the guys behind me were singing their love and praise to Lucy Bronze, and we're like, Lucy, will you marry me? And Lucy in the sky of diamond, whatever. They were every single song that you could think of, they were making it Lucy's song, and saying, yeah. I mean,
There
she
you go. Lifer right there. She
I
ain't
think
never
she
leaving.
had her prime, and she was definitely good in her prime, and she deserves the praise for the career she's had. But lately, it's not all that.
Yeah.
Lifetime contract for Lucy Bronze. Then have her start every match.
Curl over all the way. Don't really
Just keep her there the whole time.
All right.
Okay,
All right.
it's time.
Yeah, let's clear the lane out for the crash out. It's time for the crash out.
It's
Because
time.
of the 3 teams that we all support, there is one team
Well,
who
Tom,
not
before
only
you
is no
before you
longer in
begin,
the Champions League, but is not going to be in the Champions League.
Tom, before you begin, I have an important question.
Yeah.
What are you drinking tonight? The color of that drink looks so interesting.
Oh, so this is a lime sherbet margarita. It is the 5th of May as we record today. That is Cinco de Mayo. We appreciate our Mexican brethren for defeating France and not allowing them to side with the Confederacy. So hear, hear, Mexico.
Hear, hear.
Cheer.
All right.
Oh, okay.
The floor is yours.
So it's like let me take y'all back in time, right? So Barcelona comes to the Joy Stadium in October. No one is expecting a win, and I'm gonna let you know right now. We beat Barcelona into submission in that match. Like that happened. That was like they were not ready. They ran from the grind, right? Ran from the grind. 2-0 on top of the group, like until, and then all of the injuries happened. And the manager at the time, Gareth Taylor, I don't know. First of all, I never had buy-in from Gareth Taylor. He never had my personal buy-in. He was just the dude that replaced Nick Cushing, who was the last manager that won the league when City was involved, right? So I never had his, like, he never had my buy-in. And I think we talked, like, Marc, you talked about it, like, when you are the manager of a club like Chelsea, of a club like Arsenal, of a club like City, you're not just the coach. You don't just draw up the X's and O's, which everyone who has been around him has said he is a very good X's and O's coach. And there was problems with the way that he communicated with the squad, which was obvious and evident in the way that you ran off your entire midfield and Lucy Bronze in one season. You said no. Like, and they all said no. Like, you can go back and listen to that interview that Georgia Stanway had with BBC Sports, and like everything that she said but didn't say was directly saying, like, the manager ain't shit. Okay, cool. So you have a match against Arsenal in the league, you lose, and probably your most talented and most important player in Khadija Bunny Shaw was subjected to racist and misogynistic abuse. And you do not stand up for the player in a manner in which you should. And then you go play Arsenal again in the FA Cup. You win that match. But the things that you say are still not like, it's not real supportive of the player. It's not like you said, like, you basically said, like, yeah, she took it off. She took this match off because, like, she thought it was important for her. It was like, no, you didn't say, hey, we support the player. And then you go to the Chigwell, and you got Chigwell, and you get a draw against West Ham, and there's rumors that you and Bunny Shaw have a verbal altercation, and then you leave, or then you are asked to leave, right? You're asked to leave right before this run of 4 fixtures against Chelsea in 3 different competitions. And while you win one of them, the one that you need the result in the most, you cannot close out, which was the one in the league. Like, honestly, and I think I've said this on the show before, if Chelsea won the Leagues Cup final and the 2 Champions League game matches, wouldn't have cared. As long as we would have won the league in the match, or match in the league. Did we do that? No, we did not. So now we had to go and get that old thing back and do the spin the block dude, and that has come with its own problems, because the only players that he plays are the players that he knows. So if you were in the City Academy at one point that he knows you, he will have played you, which is the reason why Lily Murphy got so many fucking starts in this fucking run of fixtures, which Lily Murphy, I'm sure, will make a fine winger at some point. That time is not now. It is not now. So now you have to go on the road to Old Trash Can, where the water just runs. There's unplanned waterfalls when it rains and shit. And you go up on your opponent 2-0. And then you let a goal in before halftime. Okay, cool. Yes, you have everyone injured. Everyone is injured. But in this match, you have hope, because the 2 most important players that were probably injured in Alex Greenwood and Lauren Hemp get to start in this match. That's great. That's great. However, Kiara Keating, as much as I love that baby hair queen, she is good for at least one per match of like, baby girl, what the fuck are you doing? Like that, the Mallard goal that she scored was like, well, why did you come off your line? Like, why did you come off your line? And if you did come off your line, why did you wait so long to do so? Like, why were you lost in space? Like, why are you Dr. Smith? Like, why are we doing this? Every match, there is one goal that Kiara Keating lets in. It's like, baby girl, what are we doing? Why? So now, because we drew at Old Trash Can to United, we will not sniff Champions League because of this. And we don't have a coach. We don't have nobody to manage. Like now, and I'm sure there's all kinds of names. I can name 3 names on this side of the Atlantic that I would be like, yeah, I'd be cool with them managing. But that doesn't mean shit, because I don't know if they're going to work with the players that are there now. And you used your winter window to sign a player like Rebecca Canuck, who has great upside. Like, I like Rebecca Canuck as a defender. I think that she has big upside. But she was hurt. She didn't play not nary 1 minute of them 360 minutes against Chelsea. Not one. Why? Because she was hurt. So we have to play, as my show bro from Shades of Blue, Charlie would say, the female equivalent to Kyle Anderson in slow-mo in Gracie Pryor at fullback, at center back, which again, an academy player, which Naomi Lazelle is way better as a defender. Just gonna put that out there. Like, doesn't matter if you put her at fullback or center back. Like, she has proven that she is a better defender than Gracie Pryor. But no, because Gracie Pryor was in the City Academy and Nick Cushing knows her from the City Academy, we got to play her. And so it's like, I don't. So now we have to either beg Orlando Pride to say, hey, I need you to come up off of Seb Hines, that's going to cost.
No.
That is going to cost an arm, a leg, and a kidney. Or you say, hey, Lauren, we know that Chicago just did you dirty, and we know that you have history with Bunny Shaw. You may not have history in this league, but you have history with Bunny. So why don't we bring you in, because we can keep Bunny happy, which that is probably our most important player to keep happy. Or like you're just rolling the dice with some European coach that you're just like, I don't know, maybe. Sure. Why not? Like,
I think Lauren is a great shout. I think tactically Lauren fits the team a lot better. I think he's really great with players. Like you said, he has a relationship with Shaw. My only concern is the obvious, right? Like, and to be fair, it would also be the concern, as proven why in America, but just that he is a black male coach. And anytime you are a black coach, female black coaches don't even get the chance, but like as a black male coach, like you don't, like if you thought Bunny Shaw was getting abused after a rough game, like what is it going to look like if 3, 4, 5 matches into the season, you have, 1 win, 2 wins, a handful of draw, like, you know what I mean? Because like to say that any coach would come in and immediately turn things around is always going to be a hard ask, but it's always expected at big clubs like Arsenal, like Chelsea, like City. And so while I think Lauren would be a great fit, that would be my biggest concern, is that like, would City be willing to give him the grace that he would need to actually build the team and like build a club? Because I do think you get him in there, and I think you at least take care of we have a coach that can connect and nurture these players a hell of a lot better than Gareth Taylor was able to.
Well, and I think that the other thing too is like, and yes, the writing for this was on the wall for a very, very long time. And maybe this was one of those situations where she might have stayed had we beaten United and Arsenal beat United or got a result and was able to finagle, and City was able to finagle Champions League. But like today, it came out that Laia Alessandri is going to Barca on a free transfer at the end of the season, literally for nothing. So like you have a player who was one of either your starting center backs or your starting defensive midfielder, just like, okay, bye. Like, and I'm sure that Barcelona loves it, because like now they have a replacement for Kira Walsh, like just,
and it's free. It's free. It don't cost nothing.
For free, and
it's
we all know Barcelona broke, so like they ain't got no levers to pull.
That's that's another lever. The free transfer. That's lever 3,598. That's the Leia lever.
Correct. So now we're all just looking around, like, okay, well, and so now you get to the point where like, okay, well, you loaned out Chloe Kelly.
And we still don't know what's going to happen with her.
And we still don't know what's going to happen with that. And Chloe Kelly went out on loan because it was very apparent that she and Gareth Taylor was on the outs. Like, which is wild, because from a season ago, they was like, it was all good just a year ago.
They were like, they were like that.
Right. Like, and the fact that like she created the most chances in WSL play in the 23-24 season. I don't understand why.
I'll be honest. She was so like it, like honestly, just as an Arsenal fan, like it, a lot of her settling in those first few matches had nothing to do with her. It was like the other Arsenal attackers were so not used to a player coming in and just sending these perfect crosses. They were like, holy shit. Like, wait a minute. Like, wait, what? Like the ball is, it's not behind me. It's in front of me. And
It's at my foot. I don't know what to do with this. What am I doing with
do this shit? And so like
that and having someone
once
who
they
just
started clicking, like Russo started getting goals.
Exactly.
Caldente started scoring. Like you got fucking Caitlin Ford over there putting them in now because Chloe Kelly's just sending in silver platter crosses.
It's not even just the crosses, it's the fact that Chloe Kelly's one of the few players who is not afraid to shoot. And when
That
other
too.
players around
That
them
too.
shoot, then everyone else gets the confidence to just shoot.
And I think that is probably one of the reasons why she couldn't play for Gareth, because like Gareth was very much a good shot, great shot coach. Whereas like I don't want
he's not like a vibes, let the player do their thing coach.
Correct. I was like, I don't want anyone like because he was that master on the X's and O's when we were like drawing up the plays and stuff. Like, okay, I don't like now you're messing up my vision. Like, and while Mary Fowler was doing like everything that was asked of her,
that's another like where is she at right now?
She tore her ACL.
Oh, that's right. Okay, my bad. I'm so stupid. I forgot about that. I completely forgot about that injury.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, she was like one of the best players for the first half of the season. Where's she been at? And I'm just like, my bad. That was my fault.
Yeah. So she tore her ACL. So like, not only like, not like you had a player who was ascendant, like she probably was City's most improved player from 23-24 to 24-25. Like, and that's not like no question.
She might have been the league's most improved player in that span.
Correct. And she probably still is. And like, and honestly, like, did y'all know that Bunny Shaw is still tied with Alicia Russo for the Golden Boot? Still.
That doesn't surprise me.
She's not going to play against Crystal Palace this weekend. She's not. I'm just going to let
you
know.
I love Russo, but like, she's not like a goal scorer in bunches type of player. At least for Arsenal, she hasn't been. But then again, we haven't needed her to be. So
correct. But like, still, like the fact that
she hasn't even like Bunny ain't really played. And
was it in February, and she's still like Golden Boot leader, co-leader. Like that's ridiculous. That's fucking bananas. and like. That to me, that just further proves the point that Gareth needed to go. Like, this is the same man who told me to my face that Bunny Shaw needed to sit behind Ellen White because Ellen White was going to show Bunny Shaw how to be a professional in this league. And he said, and what the fuck is that supposed to do? I still have not been explained that. There's still been no proper explanation for this. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't know. So now you have this team that is in so much flux. You brought in a player who specifically said that they was coming to this league to play in Champions League in Carolyn.
Carolyn, and she don't even.
And now she ain't gonna be playing in Champions League.
And let me tell you something.
And have you ever seen an unmotivated Carolyn?
But that's what I'm saying. I was about to say, because like the four of us who are very familiar with the NWSL, like we know you just
what an unmotivated Carolyn looks like.
The good is you got Carolyn. The bad is you now have a Carolyn who has no point in being there. Yeah, she's just like, I came here for Champions League. What the fuck am I going to do next season? And a Carolyn that, you know, as much as it hurts me to kind of say, like, was supposed to be at Arsenal for the longest and only didn't go because when she made the move in the winter, we were still kind of like unsure as to who was going to be the permanent manager. Like Renee hadn't been permanent yet. And so I can totally understand from Carolyn's perspective, like, I don't know if I want to go to a team that is, you know, while they're having good form, doesn't really have their future set
out from underneath her. Because
now Arsenal are in the Champions League final. Like she could be in the final right now. Brother, if we had Carolyn right now, I would be feeling 10 million times more confident than I feel, which is scary because you're going to hear how confident I feel when we talk about the final. But like, brother, if we had Carolyn, you would not even know. But like, yeah, I would just prepare City fans for a Carolyn next year that I think it's totally wrong and unfair to be like, she's going to suck next year. She's not going to care, because I never want to say a player doesn't care, right? Unless it's very, 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 very obvious. But I've seen Carolyn enough to know she can get unmotivated. And ask Courage fans how that looks when she gets unmotivated. Like, it's not great. Right. It's not great. Right. It's not the Carolyn you signed. I'll tell you that.
Let's just put it this way. She was out for a good majority of the season until Brazil said, hey, we go into the Olympics and you go into the Olympics too.
I was about to say, the only hope is that her motivation is, making sure she's on that 27 roster.
Yeah, like I gotta play good so I can play. I can look good in this yoga.
But at the same time, I feel like Brazil already have her penned in pretty much with how their team is right now. Like, just kind of like, I feel like she just needs to do like as long as she's not completely terrible, she'll be on that team in 27. So, but I mean, I feel like as a City fan, that's got to be your only hope for motivation from her, is like that World Cup.
Like, and I mean. And then you look at a player like Viv, who signed a 2-year contract. Like, she's hurt, like tore her hamstring. Like KVNB, count your days, bitches. Because I swear to God, you swamp German motherfuckers, I can't stand you so much. Stop calling my players in. Like, Jill Roord got hurt playing for y'all. She just came back. Miedema got hurt playing for y'all.
Welcome to the life of an Arsenal fan. How do you think we felt? This is how we felt the last few years with them too.
Oh, and then like literally our best player this season has been a Dutch fullback. I'm gonna let that sit and y'all marinate on that. A Dutch fullback has been City's best and most consistent player all season.
This is great.
You're not winning no trophies. You're not winning no cups. You're not going to Champions League.
I was about to say, I think if any of us can call this season a failure, it's got to be City, right? Like, as much as I hate this for you, I feel like if any one of us is calling the season a failure, it's y'all, right? Like, flat out failure, I feel like.
Yes. Absolutely.
What did you say?
At the beginning of the season, I told the gentleman on Shades of Blue, I said, listen, if Gareth does not put a trophy in the trophy case this year, this season was a failure. Well, Gareth did not even have the opportunity to put a trophy in the trophy case this year, because you know why? He got sacked. They gave that motherfucker the pink slip and said, bye. You cannot. No. And so then, like, when
at the beginning of the year, like Deepti would, like me and Deepti were talking about earlier, like at the beginning of the year, like I legitimately thought the top three was going to look like City, Chelsea, and then one of United, Tottenham, Liverpool. Like I thought, and I honestly thought Arsenal might be behind all of them. I truly thought that.
And do y'all remember there was an episode, like the 3rd, 4th, 5th episode of the season, where I said, I think my team might be fraudulent.
I feel like
yes,
I feel like I want to remember that. I might have to go back and look at the tape. I feel like that might have heard that.
I think my team might be fraudulent. I have been proven right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately
for me.
Okay. Where exactly, I guess, where, when, what, all the W's was the drop off? Because you had such a strong start, including that, what you already mentioned, the 2-0 win over Barcelona. There was the first loss to Chelsea was fine.
Because for me, like, I feel like that wasn't the 4-match stretch against Chelsea was like the one that started everything. You really think it was that first loss
when we lost to y'all in the league? Because that
was the match we needed. Like, we wanted to win the most.
Even the Everton match, like, you can kind of like overcome that, right? Mm-hmm. But it was the vibes that were around the loss to Arsenal.
That's
like,
true.
Now it was like all that stuff that Bunny, like that was what like everything.
It was just like Gareth not coming to her defense, the team not coming to her defense, her sitting out that match,
So,
the
not
abuse
just
coming
play,
after
like,
that
on the
home
field,
loss.
off the field,
Like,
all
yeah,
the vibes.
yeah,
yes,
yeah. I can see that. I can see that.
That was
because that probably got to Bunny like, damn, I ain't got nobody help. Like, first of all,
like,
I'm getting racial abuse at home.
Because
Like, first of all, it's happening at home. That is already like, holy shit, like at home. Like, I don't expect that. And now you're telling me my coach and my teammates don't have my back. Like, wow.
With City fans, and like, to be perfectly honest, like the season before, all of like Bunny's like best friends on the team, like Felipa Angeldal, like all of her best friends on the team left.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so there was nobody like, and yeah, like her and Chloe Kelly were cool, but Chloe Kelly wasn't playing like that. Like, and so, and her big thing was like, I need to be playing for the Euros. I need to be getting those playing time for the Euros, and I'm not. And so it's not like Bunny can go like,
she was focused on her own shit, trying to get out. Like, she was like, look, I like you, Bunny, but like, I'm trying to get my own shit figured out.
Hey, Bunny, it's terrible. It's terrible that they're calling you the N-word, but like, I'm trying to play for the Lionesses. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's fucked up, bro. To be fair, I don't think Chloe Kelly said it quite like that, guys. I just want to make it clear.
I know her and Taylor Hines came up together. Like, they like came up through the youth academies.
But no, yeah, it was very much I have to make sure I get mine right now, because like to be fair, like she very much was like, she literally was not getting picked for the squad anymore. Like, she was out of the Euros picture.
And Mary Fowler was playing better than she was. She was doing the things that Gareth wanted her to do, which Chloe Kelly
was doing everything she wanted and not shooting crazy. Like, she was taking the better shots, to be fair.
Correct. So
this is why I was so, and everyone in the chat knows, we're all on the like Bunny to Chicago train.
Yeah.
But now that Lauren is gone, if you say Lauren to City,
yeah, like let's do that, Lauren. Let's do that in reverse. Let's reverse engineer that.
Now I'm as much
Tom's
as
like, I like this one better. Let's get Lauren to City and not Bunny to Chicago.
Correct.
Which I think is actually a really good shout, but
I think I honestly I think it's the perfect fit. Like I said, there's only one concern I have. It's the obvious concern, but I think if you can give me confidence that City are going to give him time to grow. Like, if he doesn't get it done in 2-3 years, then yeah, I understand clubs like Arsenal, Chelsea, City, like, you need to get it done quick. But I also feel like if you're going to bring in a manager, especially one who hasn't been in the WSL before, you have to give them 2 to 3 years to really cook.
Yes.
And I don't even think Lauren would need that much, to be honest.
I don't think so either. And I think that Lauren would also Lauren would be much better supported by the Reece Sorgen than he ever was by Marc Fewes. As far as like, hey, this is the talent that I would like to have on the squad. This is the way that I would like to play.
City are the team that'll write you the blank check, yeah.
Correct. And like, I mean, they have a way that they want to play. And I'm sure that if Lauren convinced them, like, hey, maybe we should be playing this way, they could probably be like, okay, let's do that. And God bless America. I mean, Gracie Pryor and them falsies, I mean, good Lord. She's going to be a competent center back for somebody, but it's not going to be for a team that's playing in the WSL going to Champions League. I know that. Like, I guess like Charlie makes this point all the time. Like, I don't understand why we keep on playing Gracie Pryor when Naomi Lazelle exists on the roster.
Fair.
There's a reason that Gareth started her in the Champions League match against Barcelona, and she scored a goal. Just gonna put that out there. Just saying.
I feel like, as we do this, like, looking back, on these earlier matches is crazy because like when City beat Barcelona, I think the vibes for everyone was like, holy shit, City are for real this year. Like it was very because like you said, Tom, like you didn't just like, oh, they like, you know, fluky goal that bounced around and like this, like it, you like went into that match. Barcelona came into Joy, it was Joy Stadium, right? I think it was. They came into Joy Stadium. And like City were like, no, we're just gonna push you. Khadijah Shaw was out here Heisman Trophy, everybody just on her Reggie Bush shit, just like stiff arming and like getting people out the paint, and just like it looked like a dominant win. And it was very much like, oh, and again, early season Arsenal fan, I was like, yeah, City's got a top 3 on lock. It's looking more and more like we're gonna be the odd team out, like legitimately, you know. And I think to be fair, if you had told me one of these teams are going to falter, I think I might have picked City just because like, again, like Chelsea, perennial powerhouse, Arsenal, as bad as they start, like have experience to kind of get their shit together, right? Even though I didn't have the confidence under Jonas, if you had told me one of these top teams early on in the season were going to falter, I probably would have picked City. But even then, like I did not expect it to end the way that it has for y'all.
It's
just like no Champions League, no.
Sorry, Mark, you go ahead.
Nothing.
It's just quick way. It's just crazy. It's crazy drop off, man. Like to go from tying with the league for the league lead to being out of the top 3. No, like because like I was legitimately like, okay, yeah, City, you know, they're gonna take another step. Oh, they signed Viv. Like, oh yeah, they're about to.
Oh, they were feeling themselves. Respectfully, y'all were feeling yourselves when you signed Viv. I couldn't get y'all out my inbox.
I mean, I think like
there was a lot of.
Yeah, like yes, injuries happen. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say like Alex Greenwood like popping her MCL like wasn't a big deal. I'm not gonna say that like Lauren Hemp being out for 4 months wasn't a big deal. And when you are a club like I mean, I hate to take it all Mike Tomlin on everybody, but the standard is the standard. Like you like. You have to qualify for Champions League, point blank, period. That there is no excuses. I don't care. I don't care if you have to play Rico Lewis's little sister and at fullback. Like, no, she's like, you think I'm laughing. You think I'm joking. She's actually on the squad.
No, I know she is. That's why I'm laughing, because I know she's on the squad. Didn't she play? I think she got a few minutes recently, right? I feel like she did. Or maybe we were just talking about her maybe getting.
The only time that she got a few minutes was like the FA Cup matches. Like,
yeah, maybe that's what it was. Yeah. No, yeah, I know. That's why I was laughing, because I know she's on the team. Like, that's what's funny is like.
But like you can't. The standard is the standard. Like, it doesn't matter who plays. Like, it doesn't matter if you're playing Lily Murphy. It doesn't matter if you're playing Lauren Hemp. Like, you have to qualify for Champions League if you are Manchester City Women's Football Club. Period. Like, there are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, and I think that it's I think what makes it so difficult as a City fan is that it's a collective failures. Like, it's real easy to say like, oh, Gareth, this is all on you. Like,
right.
And we saw that there was life after Gareth. Like, so we know that it wasn't just him. Like, so like this to me falls at the feet of Therese. Like, because like you are the one that has all the players that we have currently, which I think, and like, yeah, it really sucks that like Risa Shimizu like did her ACL in the Olympics. And I think that the team is a lot different with her than they are without her. I think Silves of Shea Butter FC posed it to the group chat the other day. It was like, what fullback is going to be able to keep up with 21 at Angel City? And I would have said, like, my original answer to her was like, pre-Olympics, I would have said Risa Shimizu, like, because of the way that I saw her check Mariona Caldente in that game that Japan had against Spain, right? But like, I don't know what she's going to look like post-injury. Like, that's the other thing. Like you come into the season with injuries, and you have older fullbacks, you have an older back line outside of Gracie fucking Pryor, slow-mo. Like, what are you going to do with that? Like, you have to be able to make, like, just to Mark's point about Lucy Bronze, like, Barcelona was able to exploit the lack of speed on the back line that Chelsea had. Like, if your Dutch fullback is the fastest player on your back line, you're going to have problems. And don't get me wrong, I love Kirsten Kasperai. I think like she is definitely a club favorite, but she's not like a best 11. She's not like a WSL best 11 outside back. I wouldn't.
She's not the player you want being your best player on the team.
Correct.
Not on a team with players like Khadijah Shaw and like Viv Miedema.
Like she's not the player on the team that you want being the
most
best
consistent
player and the most consistent player. Exactly.
Okay, well, I have two things. One, regarding the injuries, who does that fall on? Because you said, a bunch of them got injured in international duty, but does it still fall on like the club team and the club trainers and training staff, athletic staff, whatever, to keep them healthy? I guess there's a bit of like on both sides it works, right? But I feel like this year City probably has had the most, or at least like the most long-term injuries of at least of our teams from the beginning of the season, not including injuries that have happened
maybe in the
prior
league.
to the start.
I can't think of any other teams that have had large injury blows to their squads.
Yeah, so that was one. Yeah, go ahead.
Chelsea
with that
came into the season
question
injured,
well.
and
right.
like we're healing, so I don't think that really counts. But like, yeah, in terms of getting injured, I think City might be the worst.
I think that it goes again, like that's what's so frustrating about this blame, pie is like you don't know who to blame in this instance. Like you're like I don't know how.
More, let's play the blame game for sure.
Like I don't know who to assess.
For a second, I was like, "Wait, did somebody?" I
thought that was my computer.
With the audio, man. Hey, I haven't. That's John Legend, right? I haven't heard that John Legend song in a minute. That album was fire. Actually, that's like a sick album, right? I remember that album. Anyway, I'm sorry.
So, like, I don't know. Like, it's difficult to assess who the blame is. Like, is that the manager not making sure that like he's in communication with the international manager and be like, hey, I know you got 3 international friendlies coming up. This player could probably play like, I don't know. They can probably play 135 minutes of those, like, 270 minutes that you got, and that's probably all they got. Please don't play them more than that. And when you don't have, like, when you have an interim manager, like, you kind of like, I wonder if that's what like KNVB felt like, oh, well, they're an interim manager, so that doesn't really count. So, like, I can do whatever the fuck I want with Joe Rourke. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
I also think it matters on the international coach, right? Because, like, I feel like Arsenal dealt with the same issue this year where it's like Emma Hayes is obviously a bigger presence than Renee Slegers, but, like, Emma's sitting there playing Emily Fox, who's already playing full 90s, match in, match out for Arsenal, and then going to the U.S. team playing full 90s. And it's like, I feel like at some point a conversation was had because I've noticed the last couple windows, Emily is 1-1. Like she'll play full 91 and then either come off the bench or not play at all the second or like reverse.
Correct.
Like, I think at some point Renee's stature kind of got up there and she was like, listen, bruh, it's getting critical in this season. You're not going to keep doing this shit. I'm the fuck.
If is Cushing having those conversations?
But that's what I mean. Like, I think at that point, as a club manager, your only options are you have to be able to go to that international manager and say, look, these are the regulations, or you need to put your foot down altogether and be like, I don't give a fuck about these friendlies. I'm caring about this season that we need to win right now. And so like this player's not going, period.
If you remember, though, a lot of the UEFA windows are not friendlies anymore. They're all matches that count towards some sort of tournament. which is now why maybe like international coach, well, this is also a tournament, like they should hold the same
This is
status as some of
qualifiers
the
for
other.
Euros. This is
Right.
qualifiers for this. Like you
Well,
have
and,
to
like-
play.
And then they have like Nations
Whereas
League
like
and all this.
CONCACAF,
So
it's like these are friendlies for CONCACAF nations.
I think at
like
some
the
point
US and stuff.
it also, part of it may fall on like the player to say they're obviously not going to, that they want to play as much as they can. So it has to be everyone in communication, like
Right.
international staff, club staff, and the player themselves, and like player management around them being like, okay, this is the healthiest way. Like you can't overwork yourself.
Yeah. Like a player like Rebecca Canuck, like she had never played for Germany at the senior level before, and like you can't begrudge her like she gets her first senior cap ever for Germany. Like, yeah, go play for Germany, and that's when she got hurt. Like, and so now that's when Gracie Pryor ascended to like, oh, we're gonna have to start her as opposed to like playing, Canuck and Alexandria together, which was what was happening before Greenwood popped her knee ligament. So, yeah, I just feel like there's just was a lack of communication from City's training staff to City's coaching staff to international coaching staffs to international training staffs, that like there wasn't a lot of, and part of that is the fact that when you do fire your manager and don't hire a permanent one, there's going to be a lot of like, but whatever, like you're just an interim, like it doesn't really matter what you say, so like we're just going to play this player because like fuck you, because you're not going to be in that job next year, and like that player and we might need that player for the Euros. So
well, that's why I say like maybe Renee's statue went up with Emma, because it's like while Renee was still in that limbo status, like Emily Fox was getting all these minutes, and then the moment it was like, no, Renee's a permanent manager now, then it's like you see Emily kind of be managed a little bit more, and so it's like, okay, I wonder if Emma Hayes was also just like, okay, I'll respect you more as the permanent manager and as someone who is going to be controlling this team for the long run. So, but I mean, like Deepti said, it's a balance between everybody, I feel like. And I feel like you can't really blame the player, because players are never gonna.
Players are always going to play.
Players are never going to take
play.
themselves out. And to be honest, like as fans and as coaches and stuff, if you find the player that's taking themselves out, you don't want them. Like that's just
to quote 3LW, ballers, they gon' ball, right? Like that's just what they gonna do. Like they don't know. Ball is life. Football is life. So, like,
I did want to ask Thom, like what we asked Marc at the end was just like, because like this is what I'm curious about, right? Like again, like we always hate to bring up the comparison to the Broso, but like it's oftentimes what we have to go on. And like in the men's game, you see anytime a big club like a City, like a Chelsea, like an Arsenal, although it hasn't been a lot lately since Emery left, but like when they don't make Champions League, you tend to see a bit of an exodus with players like, hey, I want Champions League football. Like, do you anticipate something like that for the women's side of City? And then kind of like the second part to that is just, who are you looking at in terms of like trying to bring in? Obviously, aside from the number one player that everyone on the planet wants to bring in, that everyone assumes might be leaving Washington from the NWSL soon. Like aside from her, who do you think you would want to bring in? And like I said, do you see a mass exodus of players being like, look,
that was exactly my question. Do you fear an exodus? And no, that's fine. And yeah, same question. Not who do you want to bring in, but yeah, who do you want out as well?
I think I'm not necessarily concerned about a mass exodus, because I don't like it's not a 2022 situation. Like all that midfield, like in Carolyn Weir and Georgia Stanway and Kira Walsh and Lucy Bronze, all of them were out of contract. Like Laia Alessandri has already announced that like she's going to Barca. Like she's going to Barca on a free, like whatever, cool. But like I mean, I think we've already discussed like if you have a Spanish defender, you truly have a Spanish midfield, especially if they are La Masia trained products.
Yeah.
So like that part was like, okay, cool. Am I worried about like these are the players that am I worried about losing? Am I worried about losing Bunny Shaw? No. Am I worried about losing Lauren Hemp? No. Am I worried about losing Yui Hasegawa? No. Like, everybody else, like,
I'll be honest. I think if Gareth was there, you'd probably be more worried about losing Bunny.
correct.
But I think with him gone, I think that drastically improved the odds of her giving, at least seeing who's coming in, right?
Well, and I think the other thing is too is like, because all of those players are under contract at this point. Like, if you want to come get them, like,
well, yeah, it's gonna cost money. Yeah,
you don't come up off the grip.
I feel like there are teams, like, if you were like, hey, Bunny Shaw wins Champions League football, I guarantee you someone like Chelsea is calling, right? Like, I guarantee you someone like Bayern is calling.
Oh,
or someone like Real Madrid is calling.
Oh no, see, I think that, like, if Bunny really wants Champions League football, I think that the team that's calling her is PSG.
True. Damn, you're right.
PSG or Paris FC.
Yeah. Very true. And PSG just signed Dumernay to a long-term deal. So, is that Lyon?
Lyon did.
Lyon did. Sorry, I tend to get them mixed up sometimes.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, like, I think.
So yeah, PSG could use a player like Shaw.
Oh, for certain. Oh, like, could you, like, a 2-striker system with her and Katoto? Oh my God. Like, that seems unfair. Like,
at least they wouldn't be in the WSL, so they can vibe out over there. We'll deal with that problem when we get to it.
It's like, check somebody's birth certificate, because like, this is unfair. This is
I am 12.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Thank you all for letting me crash out, because
it's understandable, because like I said, I mean, and like, you know, we've kind of discussed this behind the scenes. Like, we've gone so long that this is going to be kind of a 1-parter for the big clubs and 2-part for everyone else. And like, you know, so we'll talk about it in the next episode. But like I said, like, coming into the year, like, I very much thought teams like, you know, City and Tottenham and Liverpool were set to make a jump, and to not make that jump, and then to like I said, it's one thing to crash out of Champions League. It's another thing to crash out of Champions League and then put yourself in a position to not have another chance next year. And I think that's what really hurts City right now. Aside from the fact that their direct rivals are in the Champions League, like, you know, it would be like if Arsenal kind of crashed out and Tottenham got into the top 3, like, I would be fuming. Like, I would be furious. Personally.
It's very sad when my club is compared to Spurs and Liverpool.
Sorry.
And Villa. No. Because you're right.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. It just sucks.
Yeah.
It just sucks.
Gosh, I honestly do feel like, as much as I like the story of United, I do feel bad for City, just because it very much, in the same way that Chelsea feels like a team that is obsessed with winning the Champions League, it very much felt like City assembled a team this year to compete for the championship, but at the very least, like, secure top 2, I feel like. And to be 4th, man, I'm sorry.
It is what it is.
But like Treb said, this is just part 1 of our, like, end of season dump. Yes, I know. Hold on, we will.
As you can tell, I'm excited about that one.
Yes.
I'm gonna say some stuff that's gonna get my inbox fucked.
But yeah,
he said he is going to get aggregated, is what he said.
Before we go, we do have. Let's talk about the 2 big matches coming up, because we have the FA Cup final and Champions League final. FA Cup final is Chelsea versus Man United, and then that's on May 18th, I believe. And then the week after is the Champions League final, which obviously is Arsenal versus Barcelona. So let's talk about those 2, and then leave it at that. And then the following episode, we will cover the rest of the teams in the league and once again
because we
give
do
our
want to dive
thoughts
into
and
those teams
rants,
with
and
as
we will
much
dive
depth.
into those. Yes.
Yeah. So like I think it's, we're obviously fans of the big three, and so a lot more is said on those because like there's a lot of emotions, but we do, one thing we've prided ourselves on this season is touching on every team, and I do want to do justice. Like we all want to do justice to the rest of the league, so we will absolutely take that part too.
Exactly. And
But I
if we
do want to
did
hear
that
from
all
Mark about that FA Cup.
today, that would be like
Oh
a
no, it'd be a 5-hour episode.
episode.
Y'all don't want that.
We're
Y'all
not
think y'all
doing
want that?
that.
You don't want that. You don't want that.
No. But anyway, okay, let us start with the FA Cup final. Mark, you can take it away. How do you feel about this one? Chelsea United. United are the reigning cup winners, and they've done well this season. We'll get more into them on the next episode, but I think they've surprised us all of how well they've done this season. Like we said, they probably have the best defense and the best keeper in the league. So how do you feel as a Chelsea fan? How does Chelsea stack up for this final now that Champions League is out? Is this like, okay, we have to win this one, like it's the next biggest trophy?
Yeah, and end the season on a high as well. And like, of course, most importantly, you never want to lose to a rival. Never ever want to lose to United. But I don't know. It feels like a toss up going in. And I think it's really because you mentioned, of course, their great defense and the fact that Chelsea just aren't scoring a lot of goals right now. They just eked out a 1-0 win over Tottenham. They eked out a 1-0 win over Man United to seal the title. And actually, both games against Man United ended 1-0. And so I don't know. Like it's like the classic feeling of a final. It's a one-off, anything can happen kind of thing. And like I guess respect to United because not only are they the defending FA Cup champions, this is their third FA Cup final in a row. And last season they beat Chelsea on the way to winning the FA Cup. So yeah, I definitely am not taking this lightly. I guess I'm really curious to see how Bonpastor sets up, right? Like, even though I kind of feel like I know what the lineup's going to be, just because she has shown her hand to this point. But um, I mean, all I know is we better win. I better not be seeing United lift no damn trophy in front of me. No, sir. No, like it would just be.
Agreed.
Would that change your mind on the season being a success or failure if you have to see United?
It would take some shine off. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all are British Bake Off fans, but
I love that show.
Yeah, they're always big on their presentation. That's what the FA Cup feels like. Like
it would be the points off of prepresentation.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Oh, it's a bit messy." Like that's how I would feel. It'd still be the same cake by and large, but I want that frosting. I want that shine.
You want it smooth. The
Man,
mirror glaze.
That's what they want. They want that trouble. They want that domestic trouble.
Yeah, so that's really how I feel. But I mean, I think it should be an interesting match. I don't know. I expect it to be low scoring, to be honest, because I think it's gonna be a lot of suffer ball.
I have a question. I think we've talked a lot about how do these big teams, now that more of them are playing in like the bigger stadiums in front of bigger stages, and how does that like compare to playing at the smaller stadiums and like in a much more intimate atmosphere? And I think we have also mentioned that, Arsenal's one of the teams where they do well with like a 30, 40,000, 50,000 crowd, whereas some of the other teams like Chelsea hasn't played necessarily like better at Stamford Bridge when they are there in front of a bigger crowd on the bigger stage. With this match, like the FA Cup finals always at Wembley, will that make a difference? And do you think maybe United, I mean, I'm not even entirely sure how well they've done at Old Trafford every time they've played this season, if they've played better or worse, or if it hasn't really mattered. But having like said that, they have won last year, right? So we know that they can perform at Wembley and they played pretty well. So like, is that big stage going to mess Chelsea up, or maybe will it not matter?
I would like to think it won't matter just because, I mean, the last time they played at Old Trafford was the season finale last year where they won 6-0, right? They were up like, I think 3 or 4-0 at halftime. But I mean, I will say that is I think that's also where it matters that United have won this competition and They played on that stage now 2 years in a row. So yeah, actually, I think it could. I think it could end up making a difference. I I don't think there's much between these teams overall
Mm-hmm.
where they stand, like with and how they've been playing recently and so forth. Um, we'll get into United season a bit more tomorrow, but they've been largely consistent. I think we all agree they have the best defense and goalkeeper. I just thought they better not win. They better, because like now I'm thinking about it and I'm thinking like they could actually
Well,
win.
what you're thinking about is fouling Tulla's Joyce. Like, let's be
Yeah,
honest. You're
yeah.
thinking about the fact that Chelsea have struggled to score, and if you only get, let's say, 3 opportunities, like really good looks at goal,
Yeah,
you can almost guarantee PTJ is saving at least one of those 3.
exactly.
If not 2 or all 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like that's the, like, for me, that is the key to United's success. If PTJ can keep like Myra and Lauren and Kat from like not just scoring goals, because to keep Chelsea's attack from scoring is always going to be hard. But if she can prevent like those long shots, right? Like Lauren James loves to kind of take those out of nowhere shots, right? Where she's dribbling, kind of lulls you into sleep, and then she's firing from 30 yards, and you're just like, holy shit. And it's the same with Kat, and it's kind of, Myra's a little bit more, let me get closer to the box. She's a little bit more bulldog attack, but I just think for PTJ, the goal is going to be preventing those like banger goals, I feel like. And if she can do that, like they have a huge chance, I feel like.
Yeah.
I think for me, from like the United perspective, like Jade Riviere went out with an injury in the derby. And I think, to me, like they brought in Oefa Mannion, and you could see the drop off was significant. I mean, they sent her off, like she got 2 yellows. Like, so I think if Jade Riviere is fully fit for this match, it's going to be a tough go for Chelsea. But if she's not available, it's not going to surprise me at all if she doesn't play against Arsenal, like just because like they will, like Skinner will want her for the final. But if she is not available, it's going to be a problem for United. And I think that, like, to me, that's like the game between within the game, like whoever Sonia decides to start on the wing on the left-hand side, what that's going to look like against Jade Riviere and how healthy Jade Riviere can be in that match, that's going to be what determines the match to me.
I low-key just want to see United win, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
I'm in my full-on hating on Chelsea mode right now.
do.
I'm not going to lie. I just want them to be unhappy all summer. I want them to be so unhappy. I
think that the hating is a good segue. Do you have anything more to say, Marc, about FA Cup final?
No, I think it should be tight. I think it should be cagey.
Yeah.
Scoreline prediction?
Really
He's like, I don't want to fuck with that.
He's like, no.
2-1.
I'm not tempted by that.
There's 1 goal in the match. There's 1 goal in the entire match. Whoever scores
1-0, someone, yeah.
Yes.
All right. Fair.
I would agree with that.
I could see that.
All right. And lastly, we have touched on it so much, but Treb still has so much to say. We're going to let him
the
go
yapper
full.
Of the group.
Yes.
You're goddamn right.
Full hater, full Arsenal belief, whatever you're about to say. I'm just going to give you the floor. Talk about the Champions League final.
As we know, ladies and gentlemen of the court, we all know that FC Barcelona are the best women's team. They're honestly, right now, they're the best team, period, on the planet. Like, their men's team looking real good. Their women's team looking real good. Barcelona may be broke as fuck. Them motherfuckers is winning games. Like, they're still doing the thing. So we all know this. But the thing about finals is it's just one match. We don't have to beat Barcelona twice. We don't got to beat Barcelona over the course of 2 legs. We don't got to beat Barcelona at their house. We have 90 minutes to beat Barcelona. And in a final of a competition, especially one like the Champions League that comes from UEFA, this is a tournament that has seen massive upsets. And as I've said before, for a team like Arsenal, I think this final is really, for as shaky as Arsenal has been to start the year, this is a final between 2 clubs that have historically and currently proven they absolutely can play on the biggest stage, whether home, whether away. They don't care. The brightest lights, the perfect pitch, 80, 100, 2,000, 200,000 fans, it doesn't matter. These 2 teams perform. So I think we're looking at a really good final. And I'm gonna just say it. I watching Barcelona absolutely dog walk Chelsea. I'm sure 99% of the people on the planet were like, if they're doing this to Chelsea, they're dropping 20 on Arsenal. But I'm gonna be 100% real with y'all. I feel like Arsenal have more heart than Chelsea. I'm gonna just say it. Like, I feel like Arsenal have more heart. I feel like when their backs are against the wall in matches like this, they play a hell of a lot better. They seem to have their best matches in these moments. And this isn't just an Arsenal fan in me. In my heart, I truly believe, if you tell me right now that on May 24th, both Barcelona and Arsenal will play their absolute best games, they will play absolutely perfect, and it's going to take one to beat the other. There's not going to be no fluky goals. Everything is equal. Arsenal win that match. I'm saying it now. Get ready for the shock of a lifetime, because I feel like this match is going to go one of 2 ways. Either Barcelona are going to win by 100, or Arsenal are going to win by 2 or 3 goals. For me, there are 2 worrisome areas for Arsenal. Obviously, one being the goalkeeper. Daphne Van Domselaar is still getting healthy. So I think, obviously, like I said before, the most important thing is making sure she's in goal for that match. I think if she's not in goal for that match, we're done. We're cooked. It's over. But I think if she's in goal, there's a great chance. And I think the other key is going to be limiting the open space that you give your opponent, because Arsenal tend to have 2 or 3 moments in a match where, we saw it against Lyon, we saw it against Real Madrid. They give their opponent just so much open space. And while they're really good at closing down defensively, you don't want to do that against Barcelona. You don't want to do it. Don't even risk it. And so, like I said, if you tell me both teams are playing to the best of their ability on the day, and if you tell me that no team is going to have a fluke goal, and it's going to be, 2 of the best teams on the planet going against each other, Arsenal win that match 3-1. And that's what I'm going with. And it sounds crazy. Like I said, I know it sounds crazy. I saw Barcelona absolutely destroy Chelsea. And I know we didn't beat Chelsea at all this year, right? But if you look at the matches that we lost, you can't say, aside from that first one with Jonas under helm, that we were dominated, right? The last minute penalty or free kick call, whatever, for Lauren James, and in the match with Renee. What was it, Mark?
No, just real quick. Even the match at the Emirates where Jonas coached, Arsenal had Chelsea on the ropes for the second half.
The second half. I mean, that first half, the 2 goals you scored were literally hand gifted to you. It was Arsenal literally at their worst. And so, they may not have beaten Chelsea this year, but we've seen Arsenal on this run in the Champions League, home or away, down 1 goal, down 3, down 4, Bayern, Juventus, Real Madrid, doesn't matter. Lyon, doesn't matter. They have proven themselves time and time again. And I genuinely in my heart feel like, even with the 2 losses that we've suffered lately, and even as bad and as shaky as we look, I just feel like if Arsenal play their absolute best on their day, we're walking away with that Champions League, that trophy. And there's nothing Barcelona can do about it. And Barcelona fans, when they hear this, are going to be in my mentions. They're going to be upset. They're going to be calling me all kinds of names, but I'm telling you right now, I don't give a fuck. Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. Languages. Fuck Spain. Fuck La Masia. Fuck Barca. Fuck all that shit. Because I'm telling you now, we are going to win that game. Book it. 3-1. Arsenal win. I'm telling you right now. Champions League winners, second time, the only club in England to do so. Barca can lick my nuts from the back. That's how I feel about your team. Take the best team in the world and eat it, because we're going to beat you. And when Russo scores a brace, and when Caldente scores against you, and she may not celebrate, she may be like, all right, look, okay, chill, whatever. In her heart, she's going to be like, fuck y'all motherfuckers. Because it's coming. The storm is coming.
Oh,
so keep down in us.
I need Mario to score.
Keep down in us. Keep, all this talk, all these rivals, all the hate watching, all this. Okay, back Barcelona. That's cool, bro. That's fine, bro. Just don't be surprised when that 90th minute whistle blows. And after the 20 minutes of stoppage time that they give to give Barcelona all the chances in the world to come back, at the end of the day, 3-1 Arsenal. I'm telling you now, you heard it here first. Arsenal, women, Champions League, winners, period.
So for me, game within the game, the key to this match is, number one, can Palova play 75 minutes? And it's going to be Palova and Cooney Cross against Aitana Bonmati. Can those two players combine for 75 minutes? Can those two players make sure that they shut Bonmati out of making plays and setting up her teammates? And
that's what I mean, just the open space they give players. Because if you're going to give Bonmati open space, you're going to get cooked 100%, right? And obviously talking shit back at my team. Like I said, I feel like the match is going to go one of two ways. Either Barcelona win in a landslide or Arsenal win by, 2 goals. Because I truly feel like, if Arsenal are playing their best, it's going to be a grind for Barcelona. I don't think they really, much like Real Madrid, much like Lyon, I don't think they really understand the grind that they're in for. Because if they thought that Man City bullied them, and if they thought Man City was tough, brother,
yeah,
get ready to learn Katie McCabe, brother. Get ready for that. Get ready to learn Irish, brother.
Come on, Big Shamrock.
Get ready for Katie McCabe in your face, brother. Imagine that. Imagine how you're gonna feel. Imagine how this is gonna feel.
The other thing I will say, Renee needs to start Chloe Kelly, because
that's the other thing.
And
I think she will.
Because Catacol, if you can get her unnerved in the first couple minutes, I think and Chloe Kelly is just that player's Chloe Kelly has that Dion Waiters to her. You know what I'm saying? She's gonna shoot. She's gonna shoot. Exactly. It's just gonna happen.
The ball's gonna be in the box.
Going to shoot.
Yeah.
So and sometimes it will go 7 feet wide of the goal. Sometimes it'll be on target. And if she gets one of those shots off on target in the first 10 minutes and Catacol is not ready for it,
I think that's going to be the biggest key. I think, as we've seen in this run for Arsenal, their biggest success comes when they can get that early goal, right? We saw it against Lyon, that 5-minute own goal. We saw it against Real Madrid. They scored that goal pretty early in that match in the second leg. If they can get on top of Barcelona early, or at least control the match early, right? If they're the ones getting all the chances, if they're the ones pushing the pace of the match, and if they're the ones really, providing the pressure and setting the tone, it's going to be a long night for Barcelona. I really do feel like that. Because, again, I think a lot of it, too, is going to be the mentality. Because I think, like we talked about, Barcelona are the ones coming in with the pressure, right? All the jokes from the rivals aside, you can get ready to, I know that the narrative, if Arsenal lose, are going to be like Arsenal bottled it, but like, let's be honest, nobody expected Arsenal to be in this match at the start of this season. We have been playing with house money since we won our group stage. like I don't know how to explain to people. Like, we have been playing with house money since then, and we've been doing nothing but hitting 7 and 11s in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? We got the hot hand. We got the hot hand right now. You know what I'm saying? Just blow the dice for me real quick, because we got this. Like, I'm telling you right now. Like, I just, in my heart, I feel, and it's and like, I know it's crazy because my brain, like, so much of my brain wants to be like, no, like, Barcelona are obviously the best team on the planet. But I was just watching that Chelsea match, and I don't know what it was. The more goals Barcelona scored, the more confident I got in Arsenal. Like, it was really weird. It was just like, oh, they're really dismantling Chelsea. Like, I'm looking at this team and I'm like, if Arsenal play their best, we got them. Like, they're not really doing anything new. Like, they're not really doing anything special other than just letting their superstars be better. And like, Arsenal are so good at making your superstars irrelevant a lot of times, right? Like, as crazy as it sounds, like, they are a team that are really good at making your superstars have quiet games. And if they can do that to just a couple of Barcelona players, like, it's going to be a grind. I really am excited. And like I said, win or lose, I feel like this season is already a success. And, you know, I mean, a success in terms of it's a lot better than I thought it would be. But man, I'm letting myself dream right now. Like as we get closer to the day, I'm doing that Arsenal fan thing of like, I'm believing and I'm visualizing, and I really think we got this. Like, it feels like the stars are aligning. It just feels like one of those years, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like one of those years where it just feels like it's going to work out. And I'll be honest, I felt like this in 2006 with the men going against Barcelona. And if it wasn't for a bullshit red card, we would have won that match. And so my biggest hope is that there's no fuckery, there's no bullshit. Let the two best teams on the planet play, and let's see what happens, right? Like, let's see what happens. And I think if they do that, Arsenal win.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, I will just want to reiterate. I think the key will be shoot early, shoot often. And because of that, you know, start Chloe Kelly, because like we said, she gets everyone rolling with
I think
shots.
She starts.
And shoot early,
especially
shoot
with news
often,
that
but
Beth might be gone.
Don't fall on the counterattack, because that is where Arsenal is weak as well. We're saying giving them open space, but not coming back. I do want to, like, general question about goalkeepers, but like also very specifically for this match, you know, we've talked a lot about Manu versus Van Domslar, and it's clear who the number one keeper is. How much does having that number one keeper in goal affect the rest of the team? Because, you know, I'm slightly worried about the last two matches, because we've given up 9 goals in 2 matches. But the first match against Villa. Villa, 5 goals, whatever the score was, 5-2 or something. That probably wasn't like our strongest lineup. However, the one just earlier today against Brighton was like what could potentially be like a starting 11. I'm not going to say it's not like Champions League starting 11, but it's one that is strong.
It's a strong squad. It's not a weak
squad. Right. And we still let in 4. Exactly. So, I mean, that was like the one common factor. So how much of that is just on the keeper? How much of that, like, how much of confidence does the backline have or not have in the keeper, and how is that affecting like the rest of the squad as well? Because it is kind of a weird, like, sudden, you know, switch, like from beating Lyon at Lyon 4-1 and then going on this like spree of giving up 9 goals, only scoring 4, and then having to like play, you know, you have to play United, which is it's not like the most important match, but like you said, to get second, to maintain second in the league, you still want to win or do well, at least draw.
You want the easiest path you can get.
Yeah.
So like getting second gives us that. So yeah.
Whereas, and then obviously the final. So like, I don't know. I'm I don't know if I have like as much belief. I don't want to say I don't have belief. I do have the belief. I'm
No,
also
it's
very
like I said. To me, it
superstitious and
depends. Like
like
if Van Domselaar is not starting, like we're cooked. Period.
yeah.
We're done. It's over. Before it
But
even
it's
starts,
not. It's not even whether or not she start. Like I think she will start. Hopefully, as long as she stays healthy. I don't think she should play another minute until that final. But
I don't give a fuck about Man United. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I don't care about like I said earlier. In my opinion, in my opinion, truly, going into next season, we need to give Renee a blank check. She needs to cook, and like it don't matter if we finish third and have a long ass. It don't fuck all that shit. It don't matter.
No,
They
that's
should
fine.
handle
That's
business
fine.
anyway. That's fine.
I'm
But,
saying
like,
Daphne
in terms
will
of-
be in goal. Like it's a 99% chance she will be in goal. But I'm
Yeah.
saying the last two matches, how does that mentally affect Arsenal for the final?
Well, and this is what I'm saying is like the goalkeeper does like when you have a bad goalkeeper in goal, it affects so much more than just the goalkeeper themselves. And I think the last two matches have shown that, especially today against Brighton. The Arsenal defense, when Manu is in goal, plays timid, they play scared, they play nervous, they play worried. They do not like to take risks that they normally take. They play very much with the understanding like we have a really bad keeper in goal right now. Like we have to be safe. And when Arsenal plays safe, they play bad. You know, it's like I said, even though they give up space to a lot of opponents, when DVD's in goal, like the defense is so confident that like, yeah, they'll give up the space and then they close down real quick. Or you got players making dives, making, tackles and challenges and going for balls and like putting risks out to where if they get beat, it's going to be on Van Domselaar to save it. But they're fine with that because they believe in her. And when Manu's in goal, you can clearly see there's not that belief. And like, it's like I said before, like I do not like criticizing players. Like I understand professional sports are very hard. You get to that level, you are one of the best at that sport on this planet. You are one of a 1 percentile human beings capable of performing at the highest level of what you do. Understand all of that. But of that 1%, Manu is very, 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 very obviously the worst goalkeeper in this league. Like, that's not even hyperbole. Like, I don't have the stats, but like if I looked it up, I'm sure statistically she would be the worst goalkeeper in this league. And so to have a drop off of Van Domselaar, huh?
Let's look up Football Reference.
Yeah, like you could, yeah, please, like look that up while I finish this thought. But it's like, you look at Daphne Van Domselaar. We've talked about Fallon Tillis-Joyce basically being the best goalkeeper in the league this year. Van Domselaar is not that far behind. And honestly, the only reason it's not closer is because under Jonas, Manu was starting. And it wasn't until Jonas left that Van Domselaar started starting. And we've seen what she's done the rest of the season. So like if you give her that first half of the season, if she's on that same trajectory, she's having just as consistent a season as PTJ on top of having Champions League to go with it. Right? So like I think to Deepti's point, first of all, I think these last two losses aren't going to matter in terms of confidence. That first loss to Villa, like I'll pull it up right now. Like I have it pretty much ready. That loss to Villa, right? Let me see. Let me just make sure I have the names 1,000% right. Our starting lineup was Blackstenius at top, Mead, Kalova, and Kelly in kind of like a midfield winger role. Caldente and Cooney Cross basically as your DMs. Caldente and Cooney Cross as your DMs.
I heard you.
McCabe, Catley, Wibbemoy, and the academy player Katie Reed on top of Zinsberger. So academy player.
I told you, Villa lineup. Yes, I was more looking at Brighton's lineup from today.
What I'm saying is like even against Brighton, right? Like even against Brighton, you kind of had a more starting lineup, but you still had Caldente in a defensive mid. You had Little as defensive mid. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's very much lineups that are like what I call bullshit lineups, right? Like, yeah, there's strong players in there, but you're trying different things. You're doing it. It's like I said, I think it's very clear. Arsenal are focused on trying to stay. And even watching the Brighton match, as sad as it sounds, it very much looked like an Arsenal team that was playing on 30, 40, 50%. Like the whole time it looked like a team, especially when they conceded 2, they were just like, all right, well, fuck this. like fuck it, we lost, whatever, we don't care, this match don't matter, like we're focused on Champions League, like it is what it is, let's turn it down to 40% power and just cruise. And like, again, as a fan, it sucks, you never want to lose like that, you want to finish the season strong, but when you're talking tactics, like this is kind of what you have to do when you're in a Champions League final, like you have to play this chess not checkers game. And I think in terms of confidence, I don't think the losses have ruined Arsenal's confidence to the point where it's like, oh shit, we're in trouble. Again, especially because if they had lost this way with DVD in goal, then it's like, hey, what's going on? But like all season, Manu has had these games where she's letting in these goals. So it's like, it is what it is. And then you throw, these lineups on top of that, like there's just so many moving parts that are new and in new positions and new like, I don't think it's affecting their confidence too much. I will say, I think they need to take United. Like it's hard because it's like United is 14 days before the Champions League. You don't want to risk injury, but at the same time, you definitely don't want to finish 3 games where you're like losing bad, right?
Yeah. But
at the same time, it's like we said, like I don't want DVD playing, like I don't want Van Domselaar playing until the final. Like so if we've got to give up 12 goals in the last 3 matches, fuck it. We ride, right? I guess my point is I don't think it's hurting the confidence of the players to the point where we should be worried going into Barcelona. I really don't. Enough. They know that they have top 3 locked in. There's no real pressure on them right now. Like I feel like we're seeing a coach kind of just coast out the rest of the season, which as fans, it sucks, but bigger picture, I think it'll be worth it.
I do want to give a thank you to Manchester City for drawing and not winning against United, because that would change this whole thing. Yeah. It's like if we didn't have top 3 on lock, that would change everything.
What, DG? I love you so much, but that was so rude.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's 4 a.m. I need.
But what about you, Deepti? I want to hear
from
you, Deepti. Like, I know you said you're not as confident as me, obviously, but like I will be the confidence for all of Arsenal fan base.
No, see, me, it's more of a superstitious, don't jinx it kind of thing. I'm one to like.
I'm usually like that. Like everyone knows in chat, I'm always the one that's like, look, bro, like let's wait and see. But like it's one of those times that like I genuinely feel like in my soul.
Manu's goals per 90 in the league is 2.17. Shea Yanez's goals per 90 is 2.94. So she's not necessarily the worst goalkeeper in the league. However, Manu's goals per 90 in the Champions League is 2.9.
Okay, glad you had to
laugh. You see what I'm saying?
Like, those are some real ugly numbers.
You see what I'm saying? Hey Treb, who do you want to see leave Arsenal? Who would you like to see come in? Hey Treb, who do you want to see leave Arsenal? Yeah. You know what? That's a great question. You know who I want to see leave Arsenal? Manu. I want her gone. Get her out of my club. I'm sorry. And
you know where she should go?
Go.
San Diego.
San Diego. The beaches are calling your name.
San Diego's nice.
The Wave. The Jonas.
You're back to Jonas. You can start every match. I don't know who they got to keep. I think they got Didi Heritage right now. If you can't beat out Didi, brother, you might want to retire.
Is Didi at San Diego? I haven't. Anyway.
Yeah, she's at San Diego now. I don't know if she's starting for them, but she's at San Diego, yes.
No, Kaylin Sheridan's still starting for them.
Okay. But Didi's at San Diego, yes.
You know what? Manu,
just get her out
go to the beaches.
Respectfully. Like I
respectfully.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like it's done. Sometimes you just have to let it go. Your time has come to an end.
As the great Sonny Corleone said once, this isn't personal, it's just business. And you're taking it very, very personal, right? So like Manu, this isn't personal, it's just business. Arsenal have standards. We can't have the drop off from our starting keeper to our second keeper be that drastic.
Yeah.
We just can't. So
I think that's the thing. A lot of like teams, the backup keeper obviously is not as strong, but they're still okay. There's not. It's
That's
not
what I mean.
Such a drastic drop off.
It's just too like, and again, it's one thing if Manu isn't as good, but to me the problem lies, like Deepti talked about, like it just affects the Arsenal defense so bad. Like they play so much worse with Manu in. Like they play scared. They play nervous. They play scared. They don't really want to make, like they play like, oh shit, I can't make a mistake. Like, and then of course, like Arsenal tend to, again, like we all talk about never play out the back, but Arsenal are a team that have kind of perfected playing out the back. And like when Manu's whole thing as a goalkeeper is like, yeah, she's one of the best keepers with the ball in her feet and playing out the back. And like we see her against Brighton today, you give her the ball and she's like scared, fearful. Yeah. And it's like we can't have that. And so that's why I say if Van Domselaar is healthy, it's a big reason why I feel confident going into France against Lyon. I think I even skeeted it. I said I feel more confident going into Lyon with DVD starting. If she's starting, I think we can do it. If she's not, we probably won't. But I said it. I said if she starts, I feel like Arsenal have a much better chance. And you saw what happened.
I was just about to say the prime example of what we're talking about is just those two legs. Like Manu and goal.
And I'm honestly surprised
home,
she only let up 2 goals. Like that to me is crazy. Right. We got out of there 2-1.
Yeah. And like, so Manu and goal at home, they played terribly. And it wasn't just because like Manu, it's like the whole team played terribly. Like a little bit towards the end.
Because of her, the defense is like ass. Yeah.
Then away at Lyon with DVD and goal, and it just everything flipped. And so anyway, what I'm gonna say is I think I'm gonna end on this note. Like, yes, I have the confidence. DVD is gonna be in goal. I think it's gonna be like fine. We will be able to put up a fight. And I think the fact, again, going back to the big stadiums and the atmosphere thing, I think the fact that Arsenal has played every home game at the Emirates, or almost every home game, like 90% of home games at the Emirates in front of crowds of minimum 30,000, usually it's closer to like 40, 50,000. They know how to play on the big stage in front of big crowds. And these two teams probably have the best traveling fans in the world.
I was about to say, Lisbon's not that far away.
Yeah.
Right? Like
from either.
As an American, like all of Europe is like a train ride between one another. Like it's crazy. It's insane. Yeah. I can't even fathom that as an American who also lives in California, where I can drive 10 hours north and not leave the fucking state. You know what I'm saying? So like but yeah, you're right. Like these are two fan bases that are going to pack that stadium, and it's going to be even.
It's going to
be even.
It's going to be
and that's what I say. Like Barcelona isn't going to be nervous about the atmosphere that Arsenal fans are giving, and Arsenal aren't going to be nervous about La Masia and all that bullshit. Like they're not going to care, bro. Yeah. You're not going to scare us. You're not going to win the mental battle. Period.
I was at that final in 2022, the Lyon-Barcelona one in Turin, and 80% of that stadium, it was the Juventus stadium, 80% was Barcelona fans. There was like literally just one small section of Lyon fans. And I mean, obviously Lyon won that year, but it's wild. Like Barcelona fans travel so well. But you know what? Arsenal fans travel just as well. And like, I'm going to be there. Treb, you're going to be there. I know you're like manifesting it.
Give me that day. I'm going to get that.
I love the
I'm going to be up at 4 a.m. waiting in queue.
Going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, Treb said he's going.
Honestly, like I will go into poverty for this fucking Lisbon ticket to see Arsenal play in the Champions League. Like I don't care, bro. We might listen, bro. Like I said, bro, I live in America, but we might not see next year. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, you know what I'm saying? So like, I'm gonna wake up early. I'm gonna try to get this ticket, and you know, I'm gonna try to be at Lisbon. And it's like I said, man. I know. Trust me. I know a lot of times I come in here and like I play it up a lot and like I talk shit. I know it's going to be hard. I know Barcelona aren't easy. I know it's not going to be a fucking, it's never easy with Arsenal. You ain't got to tell me, bro. I've lived this life for 30 plus years. Like, you ain't got to tell me, bro. I know it's not going to be easy. But it's one of those matches. It's one of the few times as an Arsenal fan my entire life where I truly am going into this match feeling like if we play at our best, the way we are capable of, and if we have players like Daphne healthy, we win that match. Because in my heart, I truly feel like, as crazy as it sounds, I feel like when it comes to one match games, with all the pressure on, Arsenal are one of the best teams on this planet. Regardless of how their domestic year looks, regardless of how their form looks, you put them on the biggest stage in the biggest moments with the brightest lights, and it's like my man Randy Macho Man Savage said, the cream rises to the top.
Yo, we got to get out of here. On that.
Play the music song. That's all. That's all. Oh my god.
3-1 Arsenal. You heard it here first. 3-1, but we coming, Barcelona. We coming.
Say the number. Say that. Part 2 is coming.